Here's the #1 ranked real estate educator, proud to announce, by the Swain Poll Power 200 every year since the year 2014. He's an accomplished author and the founder and CEO of Ferry International, the industry's leading coaching and training company. You may know him from his popular YouTube channel, or maybe you've been fortunate to experience some of the 30,000 hours of one-on-one coaching he's done to help agents and industry leaders grow their businesses and ultimately build the life they've always wanted. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to welcome the man, the myth, the legend himself, and I know the person that everyone's been waiting for. So I graciously thank you for giving me the time to address you all today. But again, we all came here to see one person and one person only. Help me welcome Mr. Tom Ferry.
What's up, man? Appreciate you, man. Hey, everybody. Hey, can we give a huge round of applause to Rudy and Josh and the team? No. Huge round of applause. Right on. All right, so how's it going? How's the market? Oh. How about those interest rates, huh? Hey, just so I have context, I talk really loud, man, so AV guy, you might want to turn it down a tad. How many of you have never seen me live before? Just so I know, raise your hands really high. I suck. All right. Can you give me my slides? It says #1 coach, just not in Fort Lauderdale. Good, thank you, appreciate it. But for context, how many of you have seen me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn? How many, okay, so I don't entirely suck. How many of you, though, have made the mistake of clicking on one of my ads and then I followed you around the internet everywhere? I won't say the super successful agent's name from New Jersey who sent me like a screenshot, and it was classic. She's like, God, your ads are everywhere. Like, who does your marketing? It's so good. And I was like, oh, thanks. You just sent me a screenshot of you on Tinder. Yeah, some of you get that later. All right. Give me my slides, please. Please. Or not. So, who has seen me live? Okay, all right, cool. Thank you. My family's here. Thank you. So here's the deal. It's the end of the year, or it's Happy New Year, depending on how you look at it. I think Happy New Year was October 1st, because we know that everything we do goes in 90-day cycles, right? The calls we make today, the people we talk to today, they're 90, 120 days, 180 days away before we nurture, close, convert, and ultimately help another person buy or sell real estate. So we're in the midst of this weird period right now. You take all of that plus all of the uncertainty that's happening in the market, I think there's just a fundamental decision that every person in this room has to make. But before I get there, show me on fingers how long you've been in the business. Yeah, some of you are like finger. Okay, so I see like 3 years, I see 10 years. Was that like a 15 because you only got one hand going? Okay, single, uno. Yeah, how's that working out? So far good? Yeah, do you know what's coming? That's, okay, so who has been in the business since the early 2000s? I mean like 2001, right? Like, okay, who remembers 2006? Congratulations. Because that's what's coming, yes or no, guys? Now, are we gonna have foreclosures? No. Are we gonna have short sales? No. But is winter here? Even in Fort Lauderdale, right? Winter being defined very differently. So I think the fundamental question that everybody needs to answer right now is, are you a lion or a sheep? I got a arr. Are you a pirate? Okay, you got to turn the mic down or let me know where I can't stand because it's really loud and lots of feedback. But think about it, right? Like a lion wakes up in the morning, doesn't give a shit about the market, doesn't care about what the interest rates are, wakes up in the morning and says, take care of my family, get some food, and get some sleep. Like that's it, every day. Rinse and repeat over and over and over and over and over. Doesn't care about the market, doesn't care about interest rates, doesn't care about her feelings, doesn't care that like I don't like making phone calls. The lion gets up and says, frickin' kill or my family suffers. That's what the lion says every single day. What does the sheep say every day? Oh my God, what's everybody else doing? Oh my God, did you read the news? The whole world's gonna fall apart, we're all gonna die. No, we're not gonna get shaved, we're gonna get eaten. That's what a sheep does every single day. The entire real estate industry, I look around and I see a handful of lions and lionesses, and I see people that, not that any one of us wishes for the unemployment rate that's coming, the 9% interest rate that's around the corner, the maybe 4.5 million, maybe 4 million total units sold compared to 6.1 million units sold last year, that for some that'll be catastrophic. See, most of us though, right now, we're thinking about, okay, so the whole world's kind of in a shit burrito, but there's opportunity in crisis, yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. This isn't motivational. We're gonna get uber tactical. I'm actually gonna walk all of you through the process that I'm taking all my top coaches, all my top teams, all my clients through, which is 8 questions we need to answer about our business. Right? And inside of all those answers, there's gonna be a bunch of strategies, there's gonna be a bunch of marketing, there's a bunch of things that you can do, but the things you can do aren't the answer. It is deciding how you wanna be in this market. Now, I don't know every single one of you. Some of us, we talk more than others, we text, we connect, but I'm gonna say this to you. The next 24 months is going to be very different. You with me on this? Like, let me just give you a heads up. No one gives a shit how you feel. Right or wrong, guys? Now, my mom cares, right? My wife kinda cares. We've been married for 29 years. She's like, get your ass out there and go do your thing. Be a lion, right? And my kids, 23 and 21, they care. They call me all the time. Dad, you wanna meet for drinks? I'm like, sure, I'll come buy you and your friend alcohol. Yes, of course. I went from happy hour to happy meal, or excuse me, happy meal to happy hour. Sometimes it feels the reverse. But see, think about this, like, how many of you this morning did lead follow-up before you got here? Be honest, because if you're lying, the real estate God will punish you. Raise your hands if you did some lead follow-up this morning before you got here. Okay, so I don't know, 600 people in the room, 3 of you, 4 of you. Thank you for raising your hand. 4. But what do we know right now? 65% of all closed transactions, listen to me, 65% of all closed transactions in real estate happen, you meet a client, 90 days later, you get 35% of them. 65% happen on day 91 or day 10,000. And yet right now, we've got an enormous number of buyers that are sitting on the sidelines. Yes or yes, guys? We've got an enormous number of sellers that would like to sell. They'd like to unlock their equity. They'd like to make a move, but they're like, I got a 2.75 interest rate. Trading up to a 7 doesn't sound all that great, right? They want to do things. If we're not following up nonstop right now, we're out of the game. You with me on this? Like, do me a favor, turn to your buddy right now and say, he's gonna be like this for the next 2.5 hours. So I've already told you, I don't give a shit about your feelings. No one cares. Be a fucking lion. Got it? Now, thank you. Said with, listen to me, with massive compassion, massive empathy, and those of you that know me know I have a giant heart and a huge capacity to care. I just don't want, see, in 2006, I can look back and say, I am pissed at myself because I didn't convince enough people to do the right shit at the end of that year before 7, 8, 9, 10. I had a lot of clients that were very successful. They paid attention. They sold the houses they bought for 3% down that they were only playing an appreciation game. They sold the Rolex that they didn't need. They got rid of the third car. They saved more of their cash. They stopped spending money on dumb shit, and they got themselves ready for what was to come. And because of that, They cremated the market. They were the ones in the driver's seat. When the world goes on sale, which it's currently going on sale, yes or no, guys? Whoever has the cash wins, yes or yes? All the fortunes are made in the next 24 months. Not with the anybody could make money, put it in the stock market from 2010 going forward. Anybody could make money then. Anybody could make money, buy a house and wait, yes or no, guys? All the real money is gonna be made in the next 24 months. Are you ready for that? I think you're lying. I think it's easy to say you're ready, but like, are you really ready? Do you have the emotional fortitude to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and do whatever it takes every single day to go kill so you and your family are taken care of? Do you have that in you? Or do you sometimes wake up in the morning and say, I just don't feel like it today? Fuck you. No one cares. No, listen to me. And I know some of you are gonna go, I can't believe he's cursing. I have top agent Tourette syndrome. Do you know what that is? I get around people that I can just see, like, he's got it, right? You got the look. So I know that, so I sense it, and then I get Tourette syndrome because of it. So it's not meant to be offensive. My mom was a Mouseketeer. Like, I was raised the right way. Like no shit, my mom was a Mouseketeer. Like, seriously. Okay, so let's talk. If the last 32 months have taught us anything, is that life can be really unpredictable, yes or no? Who remembers March of 2020? Now, living in Florida, you had a different experience. I was in Texas, I had a different experience. But I started my journey of COVID with my clients throughout Italy in January and February. I talked to my clients that were in China running these huge real estate companies, and I was like, shit, this is real. And I knew early on, like, hey, you know what? We're all gonna go remote. Thank goodness I got on Zoom in 2016, so my entire coaching ecosystem, we were already on Zoom, so we were ready and prepared, but nobody was really prepared, right or wrong, guys? Right? We got stuff thrown at us left and right. We had no idea. But if you're in the great state of Florida, like I was in the great state of Texas, you guys benefited massively, yes or yes? Because everybody in northern Florida moved. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Boston, you guys, that's northern Florida. You guys with me? Right? And same thing, we saw the same thing in Southern California. We saw the same thing in Texas. And here's the good news. None of that is going to stop, is it? Is it, guys? Okay, but if you're a candy ass and you watch the news all the time and you spend all your time in worry and doubt, you're done. You'll miss all of the opportunity. I was talking to my client, George Lawton from Phoenix, Arizona. Last year, he and his little team sold 3,000 homes last year. Is that good? I mean, you can't live on $24 million in commissions, but it's a good start, right? Right? When is he happy? Yeah, he's stoked. His wife loves me. Right? When I started with him, he was like here, now he's here. And he said to me yesterday on a coaching session, this is our market, pal. This is what we've been waiting for. This is when all the frothy agents that aren't willing to do the work, this is when they leave. This is when our brand that we've established actually makes a difference. The trust and the loyalty and the bond that we created over time with this is when it really shines. This is our time. That's a mindset, yes or no? But it's not a motivational thing. It is a certainty thing. So here's the way I like to say it. Everyone's got a great plan until you get punched in the mouth. The great Mike Tyson, right? Is anybody following Mike Tyson these days? He is hysterical. His daughter's a pretty good tennis player, used to play with my son, right? When you see Mike Tyson show up at the tennis courts, it's an interesting thing. Because you're like, do I go up and say hi? Is he high? All right, so here's the realities, ready? Elevated rates, slowing inflation, but it's not working yet, is it? You guys study the economy at all? So here's what's going on. You ready? Fed keep raising the rates. They already said 75 basis points coming again, then another 75 basis points to follow, which is why I posted 2 nights ago, what are you going to do when the interest rates go to 9? Because they're going to. They're going to 9. You guys ready for that? You think 7 is hard? Try 9. You think 9's hard? Try 10. Now, are they punishing us in the industry? No. What are they trying to do? I was in Vegas a couple of weeks ago. Every gambling casino in Vegas is packed full of people that are still riding the wave and don't know what's coming. They're blowing their money on dice instead of taking that cash, maybe buying some stocks, maybe buying some more real estate, or just having enough in the coffers to be ready for what's coming. The reality is unemployment is like this right now. Consumer spending is like this right now. You know what that tells me? The inflation isn't high enough to make people do anything yet. We bitched about gas, and then guess what? We're like, well, it is what it is. Still got to get in my car, still got to go. You didn't go, I'm not driving anymore. What did you all start taking the bus? Right? We got used to it, yes or no? So you don't think that they're going to continue to jack that up and make it painful? The Fed has already said, unemployment, it has to happen. Consumer spend has to go down. We have to deflate this shit because it's not sustainable, and it's not sustainable at 8.5%. So that's the market for the next 24 months. Aren't you excited? You know what's great? Inside of crisis, there's nothing but opportunity. But not if you're a sheep. Inside of a crisis, for a sheep, you just get slaughtered. That's the truth, yes or no, guys? Do you think I like it? I don't like it. Hell no. Do you think you want to see people get hurt? I don't want to see people get hurt. Right? I want to see people be taken care of, but the reality is, shit's gonna get really real. Probably starting in like January, February, right? So think about that when you're out doing your holiday shopping. Maybe hey, this year, let's pass on gifts. What? Yeah, I'm gonna give you cash. Make an investment instead. That's a better idea. Or better yet, take the cash, I don't know, save it. Do something like that. Does that make sense? That's the hard truth, right or wrong, guys? Aren't you motivated? Okay, but let's keep going. Oh, there's more. Less sales and too many agents. Portal traffic down 50 to 70%. 50 to 70%. So Zillow and Realtor and all those guys, I know them all. They're all my friends, and they're all saying the same thing. The buyer demand just went like this, gone. Now, the good news is the leads that are being generated on those sites, the intent is really high. So when you get one now, you know that they're like, I know the interest rate, I've already figured out my payment, I still want to buy a house. You guys with me on this? So the intent is really high, but what if the person answering the phone is only thinking about all the negative news? You could run into a high intent client with a bad mindset and you lose, yes or yes. You're like, damn, I came here for motivation. Negative news everywhere, war, politics. Does that impact us? What do you guys think? I got a lot of friends in the military, a lot of former friends in the military, some high-ranking, interesting characters that you want to have as friends. And they're all saying, yeah, man, we're all kind of gearing up. We just know it's coming. We don't know where it's going to be. We don't know if it's going to be the Greece situation or the Russia situation or the China-Taiwan situation, but we're all kind of like this right now. Like we needed one more thing. That's the reality. How about the class action lawsuit against real estate? What are you going to do if half your real estate commissions go away tomorrow? Anybody from Europe originally in the room? Anybody from South America originally in the room? Okay, South America, Europe, anybody from Australia? You go to all those markets, you know what it is? It's 1% to 2% commission, it's list side only, there is zero buyer representation. That's how it works, right? The class action lawsuit says buyer representation is bad, it should be separated, it shouldn't be on the listing side, the seller should not be paying it. So if you don't know how to do a buyer consultation and say, and I charge 2.5% for my services, well, who pays that? You do. If you're not comfortable in that situation and that shit works out, are you in trouble? What do you think, guys? Most people aren't even paying attention to it, and it's been happening for a decade. And we know it's just, I don't know, some senator somewhere who's pissed, who said, let's just tank $89 billion worth of real estate commissions. Let's see if we can just screw with that a little bit. Because someone didn't think it was fair. You with me on this? But last time I checked, if that goes through, how fast will it happen? It'll be like that. Bam. Ask your buddy, how strong is your buyer consult right now? Tell your buddy real quick. How strong? Scale from 1 to 10. How strong is your buyer consultation? Tell your buddy. How strong? Not that strong. Pretty good? Okay. Do you guys know right now? Hey, listen. Shh. Do you know right now in the state of Washington, the Pacific Northwest, the MLS and the association have already enacted it? They've already basically said, we know this is coming. All agents must now, it's in the MLS, the agent must disclose, the agent must say, this is how I get paid. I get paid 2.5%. You're not responsible for it today, but if on the other side, they try and negotiate against our fees, you have to shore up the difference. That's what agents in the state of Washington are doing right now. Right now. Well, is that gonna happen in our area? What do you guys think, you're special? You think the DOJ is gonna go, everybody in the US except for Florida? Now, am I trying to scare you? No, I'm trying to rev up the lion inside you to realize in all this chaos, there's gonna be insane amounts of opportunity because the vast majority of people are not going to make the trip. And by the way, wouldn't it be great if like 1 million agents left the industry? Do we really need 1.6 million? Like, by the way, wouldn't it be awesome if you could pick a few agents? Some of you will get that later. Hey, Luis, you're out. Okay, by the way, how about the last one? Half the agents haven't worked in anything other than an ascending real estate market. They don't even know what it's like to get a price reduction. In the last 2 or 3 years, we had 400,000 people enter real estate in the last, like kind of before the pandemic, through the pandemic. They got in this market. Want to buy a house? Okay, here's how it's going to work. You're going to give me your child and your liver, and I'm going to write an offer, and maybe you get it. But it's okay, even though you didn't actually want the house or even like the house, it doesn't matter because it's going to be worth $100,000 more within 8 seconds of buying it. That shit's over, right or wrong, guys? Now, we're still seeing tons of price activity. I was just talking to a buddy of mine in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. You guys know where that is? Kind of, middle of the country, farmland. Transaction count third quarter, 49% off. Do you guys hear what I just said? Transaction count, 49% off. Home prices up 29%. You're gonna see that all the time. So here's my question for you guys. Are you ready for 2023? No, don't. Listen, I appreciate it. I think like 8 of you are. My hope, understand, guys, for those of you see me on like how many of you know who my mother-in-law is? Like you follow me on Instagram, right? Like little Lola, like this little 95-year-old gal that lives with me, little Italian, like, Tuan, put your phone down, like, constantly in my face. I think about her, if she was a real estate agent, all I want is I want her safe. I want her taken care of. But you can't lie about the shit that's going on in the world. You can't not know it and use it as ammunition to say, okay, I gotta step up my game, because the vast majority of agents won't. And here's the good news. Half the agents in the country haven't sold a house this year anyway. Did you know that? Do you guys know that? That means like technically none of them sold a house. Is it this side or that side? What do you guys think? Yeah. They're all like, tastes great, less filling. Okay, got it. So by the way, that was just a couple weeks ago, right? NAR said, hey, 4.7 million sales, that's what we're on pace for. So that's individual units times 2 sides, right? 85% controlled by real estate, so you can kind of figure out the math. The point is, there's still a lot of transactions happening. It's just not the way it was. So we have to adjust, and we got to get super focused. So I'm actually going to just bypass that. That's like one of my favorite thoughts right now. Your income is in direct correlation to the difficulty of the problems that you solve. Do you guys like Elon Musk? I got some yes and no. I don't give a shit. I think he's like Leonardo da Vinci meets like Henry Ford, right? Like super creative, and the guy can just take the most impossible problems and try and solve them. And that's why he's a multi-billionaire, right? So are you really ready for 2023? Okay, so don't get all clappy on me. So let's talk about it for a second. How many of you have ever had someone in your life that inspired you to be a better version of yourself? Okay, so like only this side. None of you guys? Who actually had someone in your life, it could have been in sports, it could have been in school, it could have been in religion, it could have been in relationships, where you were like, that girl's doing something right. I'm gonna figure out everything she does because I want some of that. Do you guys have someone like that in your life? So in business and in life and in sports, we call that modeling, right? If you spend time analyzing what someone does that is wildly successful, you can emulate, you can steal. I call it R&D, rip off and duplicate. You with me on this? So some of you won't like this because maybe you're a Miami fan, but about, I guess it'd be 3 years before Kobe Bryant died, I walked into my gym one morning, and it was early, 4:30, and I'm meeting Rich. Rich owns the gym. Only Big Raj and him would be there at that time. And I walk in, and I'm just like, hey, Rich, what's up, man? It's like 4:30 in the morning. I'm all fired up. Let's go, man. And all of a sudden, I'm like this. I'm like, and it's Kobe Bryant. Now, if you cut me, I bleed purple and gold. I am a diehard Laker fan. I was a season ticket holder all through he and Shaq, all through he and Powell. My dad had season tickets during the old days of like Magic and all that stuff. Like, I'm a diehard fan. So all of a sudden, I see the guy that I was like, ah, you with me? Like, I got a signed jersey, I got a signed ball. He doesn't know me for shit. But I was like, this is interesting. So like, hey man, what's up, Cope? He's like, hey man. He's like, you work out here? I'm like, yeah, I usually come at like 5:30. What time you come? He's like, 4. I was like, sweet. I was like, okay. He goes at 4, I go at 5:30. He's a retired professional athlete. He goes at 4. I'm a full-time CEO. I go at 5:30. He's a new startup CEO of a budding film and yada, yada, yada. He goes at 4, I go at 5:30. You guys with me on this? Yeah. See, I believe that success leaves clues. What about you guys? I figured out early on in my life, listen, I barely got through 5 high schools. I mean, barely. You got anybody with me on this? My family didn't move. I was asked to leave. You know what I mean? Like, I had a mohawk and earrings and, you know, just punk rock, you know. Now if you have like pink hair, you're like trendy and cool. You with me? I was that crazy kid that can convince all of you to go to your parents' house, break into your parents' liquors, and steal all of that, and then I would bail. So I've always been in a leadership role. You with me on this? Just, you know, as a couple of my yearbooks said, like, you know, he can move the needle just in all the wrong ways. Like, that's the shit that was written about me. But early on in my life, I was introduced to a guy named Robert Stover. He became my first coach. Robert was an NLP trainer. He worked directly under Richard Bandler and John Grinder, the co-founders of NLP. And I was enamored by the fact that he knew ways to say things that like captivated people. He could build rapport instantly with anybody all over the planet. And I was like, I want that, right? And then as I got into business, I started realizing like, he's really good at this. She's really good at that. And then you know what I started doing? It was like a weird metaphor of like, it was like a buffet for me. I'm gonna steal a little of this, I'm gonna steal a little of that, I'm gonna steal a little of this, I'm gonna steal a little of that. I'm gonna stay me, I gotta be me. You gotta be authentically yourself. But if you have a better direct mail campaign, I'm stealing yours. If you got a better email campaign, I'm stealing yours. If you have a better script, I'm stealing that shit. You guys with me? So here's my question for you. Who are you currently doing that with? Me, thank you. Okay, I'm one, and I love you for that. Thank you, 1 out of 600, not bad. What'd you guys pay to be here, by the way? What'd you guys pay for the ticket to be here? It was free? How much was it? Between 86 to 300? Okay, I'm gonna do like $1,000 show, in case you're wondering. So whatever you paid, it's actually, if you really pay attention, it should be a $3 to $5 million a year GCI business if you pay attention. See, when I was training with Kobe, here's what I saw. There was the way that I trained with Richard Farley Jr., my trainer, and then there was the way I trained when Kobe was there. And man, was it different. Because he would just look at me, and I'd be like, like you just had to hit it harder. You with me on this? That is what you need right now in your life. If you are surrounded by people that don't sell houses and they act like sheep and they bitch all the time, who are you going to be? Who are you going to be? Who's got kids that you're aware of? Who has kids that you're aware of, right? Like, what do you say to your kids? Hey, you know what you should do? Hang out with all the whacks that aren't good at school, right? That are mean to their parents, bullies and assholes. That's who I want you to spend your time with, right? That would be insane. And yet no one told you in real estate, if you spend all your time with people that never sell houses, guess what you become? But if you spend your time with people that are super committed to their business, super committed to providing extraordinary service, super committed to being a killer. Notice I started with committed to the business, service, but a killer. You with me on this? Then guess what you become like? So who are you modeling right now? So let's play a game. You ready? Here's some people I want you to think about. Here's the number 2 agent in the world last year based upon the Wall Street Journal list. My personal client of 21 years. He did okay in 2021, 435 sides, just shy of $1 billion. He has a team, so we break it down. Andy made 11,933,000, and the rest of the team made 10 for a total of 21 million. And you know what he does? Hey, look at this. You know what he does? Last year, they did 600 open houses. He has a geographic farm. It's called Silicon Valley. It's the entire valley, 120,000 houses. And they did 600 open houses. That guy prints money. He would go to his home in Hawaii with his 4 kids, right? During summer, he would fly to the house in Hawaii. He would take the red eye, because sleeping is lame, and he would just show up, hang with his kids, be on the beach, and on Thursday, he would fly back to Silicon Valley and do an open house, 2 on Thursday, 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, then take the late flight back. That's what a killer does. 600 open houses, 120,000 houses, 2 direct mail pieces every single month to the entire farm. Can you model something like that? Well, I don't really like open houses. Shut up. You don't like people coming into you and having the opportunity to build rapport, ask questions, and help them buy and sell real estate? You want a cold call? I'd much prefer to have 35 signs out and have people walk in and saying, I see your signs everywhere. You guys are doing totally amazing. Hey, I've got a question about the market. Hey, what about this and what about that? And everyone's got an agent and everybody lies about, I'm all cash. Then they hang with your loan officer and they're like, my FICO score is 12, right? Like, we know how it works. Does anybody know these guys? DJ and Lindsay, Jacksonville, Florida, right? My client for the last 6.5 years. When we started, they were at 65 transactions now 7 years ago. 65 transactions. Last year, they did north of $1 billion in sales. He was a bartender waiter. She, a little more organized and operational. He is very flowery. He's very artistic. He's got a big personality. They sold, 3,000 transactions. Do they have a team? Of course they have a team. And they're making $1 million a month between all of their businesses. Is that good when you're 35? You know what his biggest challenge was when I took him on as a client? He goes, I've grown as far as the people that I currently hang out with. And I said, okay, I'm going to introduce you to some people that do way more than you. And that's all he needed. He just needed another model. Now for them, you know what it is? This will shock you. 86 salespeople, Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 on the phone. Let me say it to you again. 86 salespeople, 3 locations, Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 on the phone. What we discovered is every 20 conversations they make, they sell a house. Every 20 conversations they make, they sell a house. Let me say it to you again. Every 20 conversations they make as a group, they sell a house. And we track and measure everything. You walk around the office and it's very apparent. Josh is currently in the lead and Sylvia's right on his ass. And they show how many conversations, how many appointments, how many close for the year, and how many in escrow, and everybody knows exactly where everyone else stands. Does that make sense? You guys get that? That's an R&D opportunity, in my opinion. How about this gal, Enda Kimball? She went on 176 listing appointments last year. She'll go on over 200 this year. Guess how many listings she took on 176 listing appointments? How about 176? She's like, I don't lose. And this is Edna. Hi, y'all. I'm from Oklahoma. How are you? Oh, bless your heart. Which really means screw you, bitch. That's what bless your heart means in the South. You all know what I'm talking about? But she is until you get her on an appointment, she goes from oh, hi, to what the, right? And she just becomes this listing machine But here's the thing, like, yeah, she's doing better this year than she did last year, and like she's gonna do, she's gonna have another monster year. Her little thing was, I just figured out a long time ago, I'm just not that good with buyers, but like with sellers, like I can go and I can get an appointment and I can talk to them and I can get the home in the market and I can package, I can position, I can market it. And every time I sell a listing, my team picks up 1 or 2 more opportunities from it, because every time we take a listing, there's a coming soon, there's a just listed, there's a come to the open house, there's a, you guys with me on this? There's a close, there's a meet your neighbor, and there's a QR code on every one of those. Get the QR code, watch the video, get the QR, find out the value of your home, get the QR code, capture, 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 leads, 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 listings, beget more transactions. Do you guys get that? So you're all doing that one, right? Okay, so 4 of you, good. Okay, oh, personal client, almost 2 bananas. You ever met somebody and you just thought to yourself, he's just got it? Do you know someone like that? Like, she's just got it. There's just something about her. When I first met him, he's like 6'4", he walks up and he's like this, hey. And he doesn't get too close, but he's not too far. He doesn't take advantage of his height and be like, hello there, right? He gets right to your level, he builds rapport, he asks interesting questions. He listed my house for sale in Corona Del Mar. He's a client. Now, I will tell you, on the flip side, he showed me property once, and it was a house down on the peninsula in Newport Beach, and I'm in the car with him, and of course, he's like, hey, can you meet me at the office and just hop in the car, we'll just go together. And I was like, yeah, sure, a little shield time with my client and friend, like this will be nice. Like, we've had drinks together and socialized, I know his wife, like, the wedding, I've been the whole thing, right? So literally, I get in the car and he's like this. Okay, so anybody, he's on the phone talking to a prospect. He's doing follow-up. We're gonna go look at a $6 million house. He's doing follow-up. He is on the phone trying to convince an expired listing to list the home with him. That takes all 22 minutes of us in the car driving to the house. He's still on the phone. I'm just now on my own phone, just whatever, because I know the script. I taught it to him, so I'm like, yeah, I got that. All right, whatever. So I'm just on my phone doing my thing. We pull in front of the house, and he goes like this. You know how to use a lockbox, right? And I was like, yeah? And he's like, okay, so anyway, I think what we should do is, and he just goes right back into his pitch. And I go look at the house by myself, and I get in the car, and he goes, what'd you think? And I was like, well, first of all, I love you. You are a shitty buyer's agent. You should never do that again, ever. He said, well, you're my friend, you're my coach. I was like, I know, and I love you too, but don't ever do that again, ever, ever. He goes, I know, I don't like buyers. So guess what we declared that day? His new accountability, you might want to capture this in your head. His accountability every year is, he goes on 275 listing appointments a year. 275 listing appointments a year. That's his accountability. The year we declared that, do you think he was anywhere near 275 listing appointments? What do you guys think? Not even close. He was like, maybe 70. But he's like, man, if I went on 275 listing appointments, and he works the higher end, he's like, and if half of them decide to work with me, and when you go north of $10 million, if 25% of them sell, because that's the reality north of $10 million pre-pandemic, then I could have a really good business. I could probably do $500 million in sales, $800 million in sales, and that was it. He has one focus every day. He is a lion. He wakes up in the morning, he makes sure his kids get off to school, because he does that every day and loves it, loves driving little Sloaney to school, loves driving his son Bricks to school, and then he gets on the phone like a killer, and he follows up, and he makes phone calls, and then he tries to go on 2 to 3 listing appointments a day. He is a lion, who takes care of his family, and goes out and kills. Do me a favor, turn to your buddy and say, he is so talking to you right now. Say it. Yeah, you got like right in his face. Like that was love right there. I saw that. Okay, so you get it. Alicia, same thing. How about these two? So the one on the left, by the way, the one on the left is 84 years old. My personal client of 22 years, 84. By the way, get this. She texts me and she's like, hey, can you talk? And I'm like, yeah, Max, what's up? Now, you have to understand, her daughter Marty and her son Andy. So her daughter Marty has 2 sons, CJ, who is the backup catcher for the Houston Astros baseball team, and her older son is the backup catcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. So it's a little awkward right now in the house. You with me on this? I was at both boys' bat mitzvahs. This is how, like, we're family. You with me on this? Like, when my wife threw a 40th birthday party, they were like first people on the list outside of mom and dad. You with me? I have been talking to them every Monday at 11:30 for as long as I can remember. Maxine calls me and she says, hey, Fred asked me to marry me. She's 84. I go, you have been with Fred for 38 years. I said, how many times has he asked? She's like, I don't know, 11 times. And I said, okay, have you guys had sex yet? Right, just kind of, we're friends. She goes, oh my God, Tom, yeah, of course. Yes, now and then. And I said, why are you gonna get married? She goes, well, I'm not getting any younger. She's 84. They'll do this year $5.5 to $6 million in commissions. She's a huge Padres fan. Do you guys remember Mary Murphy, Dancing with the Stars? Anybody? Mary Murphy's her best friend. She dances 3 hours a day, 6 days a week, unless one of her grandkids are playing baseball. She dances 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock every day, unless her kids are playing, grandkids are playing baseball. And they'll do this year between, 85 and 90 transactions closed and pending for the year. Average sales price, figure out the math, about 2.8 million. Now, they do direct mail, but here's their secret sauce. They talk to 5 past clients each every day. 5 past clients each every day. Maxine's been selling real estate almost as long as I've been alive, in the same marketplace for, call it 5 decades. She has an enormous past client list. She doesn't have to cold call. She just has to call people and say, are you still alive? Remember when I sold you that house in 1978? Right? In La Jolla, California? Do you guys know La Jolla? It's kind of like Palm Beach. You with me? Oh, you bought that for $127,000? Yeah, it's worth that times 10 per square foot. Right? And all day long, you know what she does? She trades in relationships and conversations. She's on the phone all day long, because what is a real estate agent's only job when they're not on an appointment? Talk to people. You get paid to talk to people. You're not like Sledgehammer. All you do is talk to people. How many of you figured out, though, right now this year, you just haven't talked to enough people? Who's already got that aha? Okay, so the rest of you should get it right away. Okay, you just aren't talking to enough people. You could be horrible at presentations. If you talk to enough people, someone's gonna go, I like that. Your style's interesting. You with me? I was texting recently with a buddy of mine, Freud Candelario from the Los Angeles Valley, little dude about this big. Freud works like, as he would say, like the kind of, if you look at like East Side LA, and so he says, hey, come door knock with me. And I was like, yeah, for sure. He's like, hey, don't drive your nice car. Okay, all right, cool. He's like, and don't wear a watch. You guys get me on the market? And I was like, Freud, like, are we gonna be okay? He's like, hey man, he's like, this is my farm. He's like, I'm just telling you, like, you're gonna stand out. You're a lily white boy. Like, I got you. You're gonna be okay. I was like, fuck man, like, what are we doing? Like, this is nuts. I go knock on doors with him for like 3 hours this one day, and it was beautiful. He has 150 business cards, and he's got 150 flyers. And I'm like, 150 cards, 150 flyers, why? And he goes, because every person I talk to, I'm gonna hand them a card, and every person that I don't talk to, I'm gonna leave a flyer in their door. And I was like, cool. So we like literally get out of his car, we go to the first like street, not a cul-de-sac, it's a long freaking street, homes on the right, homes on the left, and this is what he does. Hey, it's Freud, the real estate agent. Hey, I'm coming to your door. It's Freud, the real estate agent. He's got this big ring, and he just goes, bang, bang, bang. And I'm just thinking, we're gonna get shot. You know what I mean? Like so I'm kind of like hanging back. And he's like, it's Freud, real estate agent, it's Freud. And they come to the door, they have a conversation. We don't go down the driveway, we cut right across the grass. It's Freud, the real estate. He does that 300 times. It's Freud, the real estate agent, bang, bang, bang. He scheduled 6 listing appointments that day. 6. And his appointments were, you're gonna come to my office, I'm gonna show you how we do what we do, so I'm gonna schedule you for, is Tuesday at 4 o'clock good for you? And they're like, oh, I don't know. He's like, They're like, can you do 5? Oh, I already have another appointment at 5. Can you do Wednesday at 3:30? And because he has to knock on doors from 9 to noon every day. He was selling 500 homes a year long before the people at Zillow and Realtor.com figured out how to arbitrage leads to these tremendous teams. And he was doing it all himself. All himself, listing houses. All morning, knock on doors. All afternoon, go on listing appointments. Okay, do me a favor. Turn to your buddy and say, who are you currently modeling? Who are you currently modeling? How about this guy? Okay, you know when you meet someone and your heart just goes like this? I have a couple of these young guys, a kid named Vincent Kessel. He might even be here, I don't know. Vince, if you're here, let me know, right? So Vincent Kessel, who is my best friend on the planet's 20-year-old son who got into real estate in his first year, which he's kind of technically still in the first technical 12 months. He's already done $15 million in sales. Started at 19, just turned 20. You with me on this? Like, kind of fun, right? And by the way, just in West Palm, not too far from here, right? His dad and his partner, they sell 600 homes a year in like Melbourne, if you guys know Melbourne, Florida, Cocoa Beach. There we go, right? So Carpenter Kessel, right? So Kurt Kessel's my pal. So Vinny, I put on stage this year at the summit, and I asked Kenan, hey, would you come on stage too? Kenan just turned 23, right? Kenan is one of 6 kids, but the only adopted kid in the family. He's the only black kid where he works. He's in like lily white Tacoma, Washington. A bunch of granola, hey man, let's smoke weed. And so Kenan gets connected with us 3 years ago, right? Young kid, hey man, I gotta figure this thing out. Super ambitious, he's a musician, like classically playing piano player. Like he's just one of those kids, you just wanna eat him up, right? Because I said to him literally, dude, I wanna buy like 25% of you because the upside on this kid over the next like 30, 40, 50 years, he already owns 3 coffee shops with his wife. He's already married, you with me? 23, already married, owns 3 coffee shops with his wife. They only own them. They don't ever make coffee. You with me on this? Plus he's a musician, right? Goes to his church, does his thing, and he's slinging, 18, 19, 20 real estate transactions a year. If you follow him on Instagram, you will see his entire life. And people, you know what happens? They see him online because, when you meet a client, what do they immediately do? They type in your name, /serial killer, /lawsuits, just in case. And then they go, oh, Instagram. And they either see your life and they go, oh my God, I have connection with her. And you know what's so weird about real estate? Oh, she has a Vizsla dog. I have a Vizsla dog. Here's $25,000. Right? That's how it works, right or wrong? Right or wrong, guys? Because rule number 1 is, are you likable? Are you relatable? But if I go on your page and it's a bunch of listings and nothing else, or I go on your page, and I had to say this to a client recently, I have to be sensitive how I say this. No, I don't. She's like, hey, will you just look at my profile and tell me what you think? And I was like, oh my God, you are really into your body. And she's like, yeah, I've really worked hard. I'm like, I know. Because every photo is your boobs and your butt and you're in a bikini. And I'm like, and I get it, like, is that your, like, do you have one of those special accounts at like OnlyFans? Or are you a luxury real estate agent? Because if you're a luxury real estate agent and I go see all that stuff, there might be a conflicting message. What do you guys think? Okay, raise your hands if you're female. Remember when that wasn't a trick question? So, raise your hands if you identify as a female. Go ahead and raise your hands, right? Okay, so guess who makes all the decisions in the house? All the females. So she's like, yeah, I keep losing appointments. And I'm like, I know why. Because the husband's like, I would love a weekend. And the wife's like, bitch. Right or wrong? Right or wrong, guys? So he puts him playing music, him at the coffee shop, him knocking on doors, him meeting with the client, him with his wife. He shows his whole life, and we go like this. I like that guy. There's just something, like he's relatable. I want that. And if you're, and you all know this, because how many of you know at least one agent that just fakes the shit out of stuff on social? You're like, yeah, you're on a private jet. Sure you are. Nice shot of you in front of a car that belongs to someone else. Do you guys know these people? We'll get into that later. Let's keep jamming. All right, so let's talk about it. Ready? Does success leave clues? Yes or no? Okay, so let's go through it together. What do these people have in common? You guys want 8 things you can R&D immediately? Yes? Okay, so here's number 1. Write it down. Uber competitive and right now super focused on who's got the best skills. Now, uber competitive and skills are a different thing. Uber competitive is, I'm gonna go on 176 listing appointments, I'm gonna go on 100, I'm gonna go on 50, whatever the number is, and I'm gonna win every time. Like, you're either competitive or you're not. And if you're not competitive in an environment like this that requires a bit of a killer mindset to be wildly successful. You guys with me on this? And my client Maxine at 84 doesn't like go, "Rrr." She just goes, "I got you." But in her, that's like psycho crazy because she's gonna win. Do you follow me on this? Like, she goes up against Greg Noonan and all the best agents in La Jolla, and she's like, "Let me go last." A killer says, "Let me go last." Because they know, now that you've seen all that, here I go. But the thing that people are hyper competitive about now is what you say, your language. Because your language matters, yes or no, guys? Has anybody ever had an intention to say something and it came out wrong? How many of you have a spouse? You know what I'm talking about? My wife and I have like a code. We kind of go, good intention, bad presentation. Because what I meant to say is, I love you. How it came out is, don't ask me to take the fucking trash out. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, so good intention, bad presentation, right? So 2 books you want to buy and listen to or audio or read tonight. One is Phil Jones, Exactly What to Say. Phil Jones, Exactly What to Say. Phil Jones, Exactly What to Say. And the other one is Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference. Because you will be negotiating more around your fees and price than you ever have in your life for the next 24 months. And you either know what to say, and you have tactical empathy, and you know how to get the "that's right," or you don't. And if you don't, what do agents that don't know how to negotiate always finish with? Okay, hey, why don't we just both go in on our commission and we'll just make this deal go together? Like, you're really good at that negotiation. But that's gonna hurt you going forward, yes? Yes?
Yes.
But Tom, everybody in my market wants a discount. No, everyone you run into sees you and says, that looks like a discount. That's the truth. You show up reeking of discount because you don't know what to say. You haven't figured out how to present yourself in a way that has people go, oh my goodness. Like Carolyn Young's listing presentation at the summit had everybody going, wait a minute. If I got up and could demonstrate 27 or 37 different things that I do, and then they say, well, what fee do you charge? It doesn't come out that way. It usually goes, this looks like it's gonna be really expensive. And she's like, it actually isn't. I just charge X. And then she said, basically, this is what I charge, right? You will have your number. She has her number, right? But she doesn't get, oh my God, will you reduce your fees? She gets, this looks really expensive. What do you charge? Is that what you get on appointments? I like that nod. All right, so let's go to number 2. You ready? They recognize the need for something new. And I would argue right now, part of the reason why Josh and Rudy, and this is the second time we've done this together, said, hey, can you come do this again? Like, come do it in South Florida. We did it in New Jersey last year. Is those guys recognize if you always have something new in your business, when you have something new, what does it do? It sparks energy, enthusiasm. Oh my God, I've got a new project. Oh my God, I've got a new way of doing this. I've got something new that I'm excited. I want to go tell everybody. But when you don't have anything new, you get stale. Does that make sense? How many of you know what I'm talking about? Right? So my hope today is you don't walk away with like one thing new. You want to have like 8 things that are new. So let's keep jamming. You ready? Number 3, they know the market cold. So tell your buddy right now, what is the open rate or the view count of the content you put out on a weekly basis about the market? So what's your open rate on your email, and how many views do you get on your market update videos? Just kind of tell your buddy real quick. You can't have this much hotness and not do this shit. You with me? Are you going someplace with that purse? She's ready. You're holding on to that tight. You look like my mother-in-law. She carries her purse like this. I'm like, you're sitting with me. I'm not going to steal it. Okay, I'm going to steal it.
That's it.
Okay, now, I noticed that there wasn't a lot of, well, my current email open rate is like 28%. My view counts are only getting about 300 on average on YouTube. And, sometimes they'll spike higher on TikTok. It depends. But pretty much my median is about 500 on Instagram. So what that tells me is you're in the residential real estate business. The world is in crisis. Consumers are confused and concerned. There are 6 million people right now that want to buy a house and are sitting on the sidelines. 63% of all Americans with a mortgage have an interest rate 3 or less, and you're not talking to them. That's a really interesting choice. Just look at your buddy and say, you've become a secret agent. No, say it to your buddy. You're a secret agent. But Tom, I don't like video. No one cares. But Tom, I speak 2 languages. Do them in both. I'm dead serious. If you have the blessing to speak multiple languages, my clients right now that speak 2 languages, 3 languages, guess which ones get the most views? The non-English. They do it in Vietnamese, they do it in Spanish, they go off. They're incredible. And if they're on TikTok, they really go off. You with me on this? Is everybody with me on this? But I don't like video. Who cares? What are you going to do? Scare people when you show up? See, the whole game is know, like, and trust. Yes or no, guys? What is the game? Know, like, and trust. So if I know you, even if I don't know you, if I like you, even though we've never met, and I trust you before I even get there, just don't screw up the presentation. You with me on this? I know for some people, the moment I said, fuck, I lost some trust. I don't care. You with me on this? I care, I don't want you to be upset, but it's a word and I don't care. You with me on this? But if you've seen my stuff, you have some sense of, I feel like I know him, I get he's kind of quirky, what are those shoes he wears? Why is he always in a vest? Does he only have one? All those questions, right? I have 30, right? But but you know what I mean? But you have a sense of who I am. Don't you want your potential prospects to have the same thing? Don't you want that? I have clients that they go to restaurants and people literally are like, oh my God, how are you? Oh my God, I watched your last video. That was so powerful. Oh my God, your kids are adorable. They're that entrenched in them and they're real estate agents, but they become celebrities in their marketplace, not because they're look at me, but they're contribution, here's what's going on, here's what's happening, market update, me and my dog. Market update, here's my new listing, here's a recent sale, here's a review, me and my kids. You with me? And I get to know you, I understand you, and then you speak in your native tongue? Oh, I love you. Does that make sense? Okay, do me a favor, look at your buddy and say, no one cares. All of you are do I have the right phone? Is the angle right? Should I shoot it like this and look thinner? Shut up. Shut up is, by the way, my love language. Shut up. Come on. Okay. They all trade money for time. So they all have virtual assistants. They use the company's transaction coordinator. They lean into their title rep. They let the loan officer do their work. You with me? How many of you have kids? Say I if you have kids. Okay, are you still paying for them? That's called free labor. You think I'm kidding? If you've ever been to one of my events, especially in the early days, my kids, 2 and 4, they're like, oh, we're going to Dad's seminar. I'm like, yeah, put a suit on or a Tom Ferry logo shirt. Here's 500 flyers, put one on every chair. Ooh. When they were 14, they didn't like that so much. Then I would say, hey, go sell t-shirts. Go raise money for cancer. Go raise money. Let's go build a church in Ghana. Let's do that together. Stuff that inspired them, right? And I'd make them get on stage. All I was trying to get them to understand is work ethic. That was it. Work ethic. Now, I would challenge all of you. See that? It says Habu, H-A-B-U. We're going to get to it today. What is the highest and best use of your time? Your job is to have conversations and go on appointments. That's it. Have conversations, go on appointments. Have conversations, go on appointments. Everything else makes you look like a sheep. Well, I gotta work on my transaction. No, that's what transaction coordinators do. You need to have a conversation with your client about the problem inside the transaction and get to a resolution, but you can do that from the car or anywhere, right? You guys know the game. Now, let's keep jamming. You ready? They belong to a community. By the way, have these guys put together a pretty nice little community of rock stars? What do you guys think? Can we give them another round of applause for this? It's pretty fantastic. I feel like I brought a little bit of my Jersey today, and I'm not even from Jersey, but they know what I'm talking about. All right, now, this is important. Number 6, every person I showed you on that screen understands you've got to be brilliant in marketing today. By the way, you're all taking photos you're never gonna look at. Would you like a copy of the slides? Okay, because I mean, you're gonna look at this and like, what? But I'm gonna give you like all the slides so you can go from beginning to end, and you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna make it easier for you. So yeah, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, now you're like, well, I'm just gonna check out now and work on my deal. And yeah. So brilliant marketers, here's the thing, you ready? It's the holy trifecta of a chunk of my business comes from referrals, a chunk of my business comes from my brand because people know, like, and trust me, and they've never met me before. And a whole bunch of my business comes from demand generation, which is everything from direct mail to Google pay-per-click and any place where you could spend $1 and make 3, 4, 5, 7. Does that make sense? That's demand gen. What if I told you right now I'm working with 18 agents, team leaders, that all have one goal for the next 2 years? You guys want to know what the goal is? First one to list 1,200 homes a year wins. Is that an insane goal? That's like saying, and then go to the moon. But this group of men and women have all figured out arbitraging Zillow, arbitraging Realtor.com. They've scaled their skills on the buy side. They've learned how to recruit and retain agents. And then what I told them was, hey, if the DOJ does what they want to do, all those transactions, they're not going to go away. It's just going to be way harder. So what if you just became the most dominant listing team in town? And by the way, what do we know? When you sell a home, you get 2 more every time. So let's do that. And they were like, oh. But I've got them flying in to spend a day with me in Dallas. I have Jay Abraham coming in, which they don't even know about. Jay is arguably the greatest marketing guru on the planet, right? I've got Ken Carey coming in, who's the leading infomercial television producer. So if you saw, like, I got thin thighs in 30 days or less, that diet and exercise, he did that. He did the banjo fishing rod. He did everything with Chuck Norris and Christy Brinkley, the funny little machine, $1 billion a year in sales. He does 35 infomercials a year, and we're all committed to one thing. Let's come up with a marketing message that makes the phone ring like crazy. And then, because if you can spend $1 and make 4, like if you gave me $1 and I gave you 4 back, what would you do? What would you do? You would keep it? Would you keep maybe 3 and see if I did it again? Okay, now these are not trick questions. Okay, but damn, girl. Okay, and then I get it to you again, and then you're like, I'm up 6 now, or 7, I guess, technically on my original $1. And then I was like, and you're like, here's 2, and I'm like, here's 8. Right? And then you're like, here's 10, and I'm like, here's 40. At what point would you start going, here's 1,000, here's 2,000, here's 5,000, and I'm like, oh, you give me 1,000, I'm gonna give you 5 back. I'm just gonna keep doing it over. That's demand generation and marketing. Okay, so how many of you, who in this room is an actual killer? Okay, so that's cool, like 3 of you. 3 of you. The dude with the hair? Okay, now, I don't mean like with the ladies, I mean like in business. Because the hair is sick. Are you married or single? Single, exactly. Yeah, when he gets married, that shit's gone. She'll be like, we're gonna have none of that, because that shit's too good. So here's the deal. You say you're a killer. What if I told you right now, those 18 people have all discovered that just on Google pay-per-click, seller leads are an average of $12.50, and they're converting 1 out of 100 in the first 2 months and 1 week. So that means their CAC, their cost to acquire a client, is $1,250 for a seller, and their average commission, on average amongst this group, is about $18,000. So how many times would you give me $1,250 if I gave you 18 back? How often? Now, I just frickin' told you that's what they're doing. I don't know how to run ads on Google. Do you know how to read? Do you know the site Google? Do you know how to type in Google? How do I run ads on Google? And then it'll pop up and say, you build an account. Account. Tom Ferry, here's my number, here's my information. What kind of ads do you want to run? Ads that attract sellers? Oh, in your marketplace, that'll cost you about this much, and here's who's also doing it, and here's the competition, and this is what's going on. Here's some ads that other people have used. You might want to get a different message, which is why this group's flying into Dallas, because if we, in one day, crack the code on the message, here's what I told them all. I'm going to trademark it. I'm going to own it. They can own a piece of it. They'll be the only person in their market that gets to use it. And one of my clients, just for the record, and he doesn't own it, he's just the only one in his market that does it. It's called the Guaranteed Sale Program. Anybody? Been around for 20 years now? Television, radio, billboards, all 9 yards. Well, my guy Paul has been doing it for 15 years in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. It's 400 listings a year. 400 listings. They just call. Hi, we want to say, hey, we want the Guaranteed Sale Program. Hi, we want the Guaranteed Sale Program. Hi, we want the Guaranteed Sale Program. Like, some of you haven't figured out this whole game is having conversations, doing great marketing, going on appointments, period, end of story. Do you guys got it? Okay, let's keep jamming. You ready? 74% of consumers select services based on their personal brand. Their personal brand. But I don't like video. Oh, so you don't like personal brands? I don't like being on social media. Oh, that's interesting because that's where the world goes to validate who you are. Right or wrong, guys? Yeah, they'll go to your Zillow profile and they'll go, so I was super early on Zillow, like Rich Barton, like long before Spencer was CEO, long before Greg became Greg. Rich and Lloyd called me in. They're like, this is what we're thinking about. We're going to put reviews on people's pages. And I was like, that's an excellent idea. And I knew it was excellent because the first time I said, guess what Zillow's going to do? Every agent said, that's horrible. And when sheep tell me it's horrible, I know it's good. Right or wrong, guys? And reviews took off. And you know what it meant? You can't be a jerk anymore. You have to provide good service. Then they did NPS or CSAT and all these different things. And all they were thinking was just, you got to serve the customer better, period, end of story. Tom, I don't like Zillow. Who cares? Zillow's a verb now, right or wrong, guys? Zillow's like Google now. Like they won that game. You may not like them. I don't always like them either, but they won that game. But they did show you some things that you need to be paying attention to. If you're Google, how many of you have a Google business profile? Now referred to as a Google business page. Who's got one? Raise your hands really high. So the rest of you aren't in business? No, listen to me. Listen to me. All real estate search starts where? Google. And then where do they end up? Zillow. Or maybe Realtor, maybe Redfin, maybe they're an outlier and they go to Sold, right? But the reality is, if you don't have a Google business page today, stacked with photos and listings and content and information, and heaven forbid your phone number, I would argue today that your Google business profile with reviews is better than your Zillow business profile with reviews. And the data actually shows it. You with me? Because now they go like this. Yeah, we met that guy, but I don't know, honey, like, I know you really like him. You both got glasses, and he's got gray hair, and you got gray hair, and you can't grow a mustache, and he has one, right? And we both have Vizsla dogs, so we like him. But I don't know, let's Google him. And I Google him, and there's no profile that shows up. And I'm like, no, he doesn't exist. The only thing that shows up is maybe your Facebook that you haven't been on in years, Instagram, which you're on now and then, LinkedIn, which you haven't updated since 2009, maybe your company business page, right? Your website, maybe, but not if your name is like Jane Smith or Luis Gonzalez, because there's 78,000 other ones. Right or wrong, guys? Oh, how about my client Donna Roberts, who's the #1 agent in her marketplace in Oregon? Google Donna Roberts. Donna Roberts is currently in jail. She was the biggest female serial killer in America. So when people Google Donna Roberts, guess what they see? Serial killer. She's like, do I change my name? No. We built a Google business page, so when they get the serial killer, they also see Donna Roberts, real estate agent, Sotheby's, all these transactions, all this joy and happiness. The serial killer is blonde, so is she. I was like, maybe you should dye your hair. I don't know, just in case. All right, demand gen, you guys understand. All right, so let's keep jamming. You ready? Oh, can you say that out loud? Say it out loud. Say it out loud. And they make way more than you think, people. They make way more calls than you think. They make way more calls than you think. Like, none of you make enough phone calls. Like, if you just give me your phone, I could just scroll through your phone and be like, you don't make any phone calls. You get some phone calls, but you don't seem to call anyone. Well, I DM people. Show me your DMs. I'm like, okay, you sent a photo of your kid to your mom, and okay, got it. All right, now you ready? Here's your new goal. 5542. 5542, let me explain. I am your coach now. Starting today, you have to talk to 5 past clients in your database every day. 5 past clients. Do you need a script to talk about? Hey, I just read this interesting article. Would it shock you to hear that 25% of the people that bought a home during the pandemic hated the experience? And they're like, yeah, we didn't like it either. I know, but we're in Florida. Could you imagine if you're one of those knuckleheads in San Francisco? They had to wear hazmat suits. Do you know outside of Florida, Texas, a couple of the other sand states, everybody else, it was one at a time to get through an open house, hazmat suit to even get in. I'm not kidding. The documented data is 25% of people that bought a home during the pandemic said, I hated they didn't say they hated you. They just hated the experience, right? It sucked. It sucked to write 7 offers and never get a house. And then here's the best one. You better be writing this down. 80% of the people that bought a house said they compromised. They didn't get what they wanted. 80% said they compromised and didn't get what they wanted. So what's the call I'd be making right now? What's your name?
Edwin.
Edwin Tom Ferry, how are you, man?
Great.
Dude, it's been like a couple months. I said, August 14th, Edwin, I sold you and your wife that house, and I knew it was hard. I know the whole experience was hard, but are you guys happy?
Yes.
So let me ask you a question. How's the home really working out for you?
Excellent.
Now, most of them, when you ask the question, how's it working out? If they go, excellent, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Most go like this. Oh. Right or wrong? Well, we didn't really get the backyard we wanted. The street's a little busier than we wanted. The house is a little smaller than we wanted. It's a little on the outlier of the school district we kind of wanted to be in, but I made like $200,000 in equity in like 14 seconds, right? So they're kind of stoked about that, but this is where I live. Where you live matters, right or wrong, guys? It's more than a home. It's your identity. It's your sanctuary. It's the place that we raise our families. It's the place where we have our friends over, right? It's like this. It's a piece of our heart. If you're not doing 5 of those calls every day right now, you're missing the boat, right? You're missing the boat because you've got to touch the people that already know you, like you, and trust you. But the next 5 is you got to talk to 5 new people every day. 5 new people every day. So that's the second 5. The hair is sick. Do you follow me on Instagram? Thanks. Hi, I'm Tom.
Darnell.
Nice to meet you, Darnell. My former videographer started with me with hair like here. Now it's down to here. Tristan Irvin, you should follow him on Instagram. He's sick, right? He's like, you cool with this? I'm like, dude, I'm super cool with it. I make him do this, though. Sorry, it's just how I roll. You're like, who is this guy? 5 people inside your database every day that you don't actually know, but they're in your database. You with me? If I grabbed your phone right now, I started scrolling, you'd be like, kind of know that one, no idea who that is. Who's that? Who's Phil? 954-777-8181. You with me? You got a ton of those in your phone, right or wrong, guys? You got to talk to 5 of those every day. And if not those, do you realize you could just go sit in Starbucks, open up your laptop, make phone calls and talk about real estate, and what's someone going to do?
Come up to you.
Hey, you're in real estate? And what's the question they ask? They ask that here too? No way. Are the rates gonna ever come down? Do you understand, guys? If you, if you just understood that example, you would talk to people all freaking day long. Because they are like, baby, what's going on? Is the world falling apart? Are we all gonna die? Is my home going up in value? Everyone says we're going back to the REO days because the only thing we have remembrance of isn't the recession of the pandemic. We've all forgot that shit, right? Remember the recession of the pandemic, anybody? Like the whole world went like this, and then it went like this, shoo. But that couple months was rough. But what do they all remember? 7, 8, 9, 10. They all remember driving down like my buddy who lives across from Nikki Beach, right, in Miami, and like you go past all those high rises at night, no lights on. And you'd be like, hi, I'd like to buy a condo. They're like, if you buy a condo, it comes with 6 more. Because that's how bad the market was. That's what they're thinking. So if you were just at Starbucks like, oh yeah, like, hey, let me get you a coffee. Let's have a conversation. What questions do you want to ask about the market? Like, I'm here. This is what I do. You could have 5 of those conversations. Could you hold an open house Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Yes or no, guys? And if 5 people walked in and said, how's the market? What's going on? Do those 5 conversations count? Yes or no? If you get an email from somebody that's like, hey, I saw you on such and such profile and I'm kind of interested in that, does that conversation count? Yes or no? Yes. Like, do you need a cold call? Not really. I mean, it's on the list, but it's like kind of low on the list. If you just like wore your company name badge and went out, people would be like, oh, you're in real estate? On the market. I've spoken all over the world. Germany, Israel, Syria, everywhere I go. Guess what everybody asks real estate agents? How's the market? That is the question. So how's the market? Okay, so I just said to her, how's the market? She went like this. And no, then it got better. Then she went, slowing. And I'd go like this.
Yeah, for me, I need a video. I need a more market.
No, you just need to know what to say when people ask you, how's the market? Let's just start with the basics. How's the market?
Great.
It's great? Interest rates are 7 going to 9. Do you wear leather at night and enjoy good beatings? Because that's a weird definition of great. I have a different sense of what I would say it's complicated. It's very complex. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's not enough homes for sale for the buyers that want to buy, and interest rates spiking has only made it worse. I'm curious, what part of the market are you interested in? Like, that's how the market is. You with me? There's more buyers that want to buy, there's not enough homes on the market, and interest rates spiking. Between that, political unrest, and uncertainty about the economy has got a lot of people kind of waiting and seeing right now. But I'm curious, what part of the market are you interested in? Well, I'm only interested about one thing. How much is my frickin' house worth? Because that's the only thing they care about, right or wrong. Yep. Or my mother-in-law just passed away. I was asked to manage the transaction. It's up in Philadelphia. I don't really know what's going on. I don't know anybody up there. I know a wonderful agent in Philadelphia. Where? Right on the main line. Oh my God, Tom Toole, he's a pal of mine. Why don't I get you a contact with Tom Toole? He can handle everything for you. That's our job all day long. Every person that asks you, how's the market? You know what they're doing? They're prospecting you. Do you get that? They're they're kind of cold calling you at Starbucks. Oh my God, you're in real estate? How's the market? And you go, kind of sucks. They're like, well, I cannot say his name in fairness to him, but you would know him because he's on TV. He was in a hotel in New York City, and he gets in the hotel, and he's coming down the hotel, doors open, 2 suits get on, they stand in front of him, and he's just standing there, and the 2 guys are like this. So what are you looking for mostly? And he's like, pretty much anything between 2.5 to 4 that could rent at like 15 a month. And he's like, how many guys gonna buy? And he's like, I mean, it's just a yield game. Like, we'll take as many as we can get. The problem is there's just not a lot, so I'm gonna go look at like 15 or 20 over the weekend, and hopefully we get like 7 or 8 of them. These are 2 hedge fund guys. Their job is acquisition, and he's sitting behind him, and he just goes, hey, my name is, I work with Douglas Elliman. I kind of overheard your conversation. I know all the properties that aren't on the market that match that criteria too. Are you guys working with a broker yet? And they're like, no, we're just going to open houses. How'd that relationship work out? What do you guys think? They bought like 35 houses from him at, $2.5 to $4 million. And they're really emotional buyers. They're like, yeah, the numbers work. We'll take it. Do you want to see it? No. You guys with me? How's the market? You follow me? Okay, you got to get this shit right fast. Okay, you with me? Thank you for your answer. Your answer was perfect. Okay, you want to hear a fun one? I'm in Israel and Tel Aviv doing a seminar like this. A guy asked me the question, Tom, and by the way, he stands up and he is like, though he had a Remax pin on, my first thought was he's a rabbi. He's got the ringlets, he's got the hat on, he's wearing the full black garb and a Remax pin. And I was like, tell me your name. And he's like, my name is Moshe. And I said, oh, Moshe, nice to meet you. Where do you work? He goes, Jerusalem. And I was like, shit. Like, all right. I'm like, what's going on? He's the #1 agent in all of Jerusalem for Remax, right? Like that's his geographic farm. You guys with me on this? And I go, what's your biggest challenge? I don't know what to say when people ask me, how's the market? And I don't know what to say when my friends say to me, because I am a rabbi, and most of them come to my synagogue, I don't know what to say when they say, will you discount your commission? Imagine that you're the rabbi. Rabbi, will you discount your commission? He goes, what would you say? And so ask me, will you discount your commission? I'll be him. This is what I taught him. Go ahead.
What do you say? What is the market?
No, will you discount your commission? Ask me the question, will you discount your commission?
Discount your commission?
Will I discount my commission? He says no. He falls on the ground laughing. He's like, I'm going to use that every single time. Now, we can't get away with it, but a rabbi, he's got it. Okay, 4 is 4 lead follow-up conversations every day. 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 65% of all transactions are people that you met outside of the first 90-day window. That's where all the money is. All the money is, most of my clients have the same conversion, 10% in the first 30 days, and the same conversion in month 12, 10%. Think about that. It's because people aren't shopping on your time frame. They're shopping on whose time frame? Theirs. Selling on their time frame, buying on their time frame. So 4 is that, and 2 is I just want 2 videos a day. 2 videos a day. Now you can do more, but 2 is the minimum. By the way, should you do a video sometime today, like, hey, I'm at a conference right now, learning some strategies about how to help my clients navigate the market in what's coming in 2023. There's no doubt that South Florida is going to experience some very different real estate environments. If you've got questions about it, if you're curious about what's going to happen, give me a ring, give me a shout, or send me a DM. And just put that video and then put it on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, everywhere, right? And then someone's going to ping you and go, what's going on? Is the world falling apart? Are we all going to die? Well, actually, right now in our marketplace, in home prices are this, transactions are flat or they're down 16%, but we know historically in the Northeast, transactions are down 18%, but a lot of those buyers, they moved here, but not as many buyers are now coming from the Northeast. Right or wrong, guys? Like, that's kind of stopped. Like, all the San Francisco buyers have already moved to Southern California. They've already moved to Wyoming. They've already moved to Park City. So now we got, like, this is what's going on. You do 2 of those, something like that every day. And by the way, one of them could be, this is me and my cat. And some cat woman is going to go, I have 68 cats. Come list my house, right? Like, you're going to love it. All right, here's the last one. Say it out loud, top left corner. What does it say? Okay, say it out loud. No one cares. No one cares how you feel. No one cares how you feel. No one cares how you feel. One of my buddies, he did the ascent of, what's the crazy mountain? I'm now spacing on it. No, not Kilimanjaro, higher, Everest. And he said the 2 a.m. wake up call the morning of the ascent for that last, call it 4-hour freezing weather, oxygen mask on. He's like, I'm laying there in my tent and I'm freezing. And he's like, I was listening to my feelings, and my feelings were, I'm cold, my feet hurt, I've gone far enough, I'm tired. And he literally said to himself about 16 times, fuck your feelings, fuck your feelings, fuck your feelings, put your gear on. You didn't go this far to stop. Right? His name is Chris Benyamani. He's a superhuman being. And he had a moment this year at our summit when he basically said, get rid of your feelings. Your feelings are not your friend. Your feelings are designed, the reptilian part of your brain that still exists, that's 2 million years old, that thinks a saber-toothed tiger is going to come out and kill you. No one's going to kill you. Go talk to more people. No one's going to kill you if you shoot a video. You with me on this? No one. So shoot more videos. Make more phone calls. Choose your heart. Stop being a reptile. Start being a killer. Got it? Lion, lioness, whatever you want. I like pandas. You're going to die. You with me on this? Find something. I like leopards. Awesome. You with me? Arr. I like that. But yeah, but the smile afterwards is way too cute. All right, let's keep jamming. Okay, typically right here, I would remind you that, see that left side where it says productivity and performance and the right bottom says time? What everybody in this room wants to do is go from your current state, which is that left line in the middle, it says your current state. What you want to do is you want to go to your desired state. You want to go right up to your desired state. But guess what you have to do in order to get there? You have to jump off the cliff of, oh my God, where's Tom Ferry? And you have to go straight down into the period of disruption. You with me? Because I'm saying now, your job is to make phone calls, do more marketing, and go on appointments. Which means all the nonsense that you do all day long is no longer on your list of things to do. But the first day you're like, okay, I went to that seminar. Like tomorrow you're gonna go back to the office and people are like, oh, how was the seminar? Are you all motivated, you know? Right, and you walk in like John Wayne. Right, maybe a little Tony Montana Scarface, like something like that. You know what I mean? Like you come in like a badass and then you like look at your phone and your phone makes you feel weird. And you're like, oh. You have to go through the period of disruption. You have to go through the first week. Okay, my older son says, hey, I'm not drinking for the month of November. So I call him on day one. How's it going? He's like, Dad, it's only been a day. And I'm like, okay, cool. Call him the next day. How's it going? Hey, he's a college kid. What do? Wake up and drink. I was like, and he's not like an alcoholic, but I'm like, dude, like, you know, like you're a college kid. I'm like, so okay, Monday was easy, Tuesday was easy, Wednesday was easy. Today's Thursday, right? Oh, Thursday, college. Guess how many classes he has on Friday? None. What do they do Thursday in college when you're a handsome young kid and your dad gives you some money now and then? Chicks, drinks. So I'm already texting him, hey man, what are your plans for Thursday? Maybe go have dinner with grandma. He is in the period of disruption. Do you guys get that? He has to break the habit, the cycle of all my friends, we all get together. Oh, Saturday, we all go to the football game, right? He's got to get through all that. He's got to get through the period of disruption in order for him to get to the desired state on the other side. Just like shooting videos, just like making phone calls, just like learning what to say when someone says, how's the market? It's the same exact thing. Does that make sense? So just remember, you're currently on the cliff of, oh my God, where's Tom Ferry? So as you think about what could be, so far, what do you think is the obvious change you need to make? I want you to write down 2 or 3 changes you know you need to make. What are 2 or 3 changes that are obvious to you that you know you need to make based upon the conversation we've already had? What are 2 or 3 changes you know you need to make based upon all the discussion we've had so far? For you, I need to talk to more people. I hope that's on your list. I need to pick a few new mentors. A few more people that I need to start saying, that girl's got something, I want to go spend time with her. You know, that guy's doing something right. I'm going to go check more of that out. Any athletes in the room or familiar with the concept of athletics? Any athletes ever? High school, anything? Weekend warrior? What'd you play? Football? You, the goatee? Oh, golf. Are you a golfer? Are you a good golfer? Yeah? What's your index? Yeah. Scratch? Okay, he's not a good golfer. He's a freaking great golfer. Right? So when you're scratch, you understand this concept. Run plays that work. You with me? You know what bad golfers don't understand? I'm going to swing harder this time. I'm going to try and cut this. Have you ever cut the ball before? Nope. I'm not going to walk behind the hole and get the whole perspective. I'm just going to stand up and putt. Right? Those are plays that don't work when you're a golfer. You with me? Football, baseball, real estate sales, it's all about running plays that work. Make sense? So you know the plays you have to run. What's your routine the night before? What's your routine the morning of? What's your routine? How do you warm up and get ready? You with me? And then if you're in Scotland where there's no practice facility, what do you do there? It's not drink whiskey, in case you're wondering. That's what my friends do. But you know what I mean? Like, so you know the routines that make you a successful golfer. You got to find the same routines in real estate. Does that make sense? All right, so let's keep jamming. You ready? So where do you think you most need to close the gap? Where is there a deficit in your current business? Do you have enough knowledge? Like, can you speak super intelligently to a wide variety of clients about the housing market, the geopolitical impact of the housing market, the credit crisis that's currently happening, why the capital markets are tight? Like, can you have those conversations? Do you have that knowledge? Is it skills like knowing how to answer the question, how's the market? Knowing how to say, this is what I charge on the buy side, right? Is it your mindset? Do you need playbooks? In a minute or two, I'm gonna give you guys a QR code. If I gave you access to 15 lead generation systems from beginning to end, like the marketing pieces, the scripts, like in order, here's the checklist, here's the process, would you apply them? Okay, then when that comes up, you should take a photo because it's all playbooks. Do you have a community of people that are supporting you? You know, like when you go, I don't feel like making my phone call. They go, shut up, dude. Come on, let's go. I don't feel like making my phone calls either, but I also don't feel like being broke. So I'm going to make my phone calls versus feeling like that. So let's do it together. If you don't have that community, it can be very lonely. Or is it just about execution for you at this point? You got everything around you, you just don't execute. So that sounds like you need guardrails, right? You need people around you to push you to be better. So let's keep jamming. You ready? Let's talk about the ultimate success formula. I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of questions. So the first thing you got to do. So it's 2023 already, right? Right, guys? Yes. Happy New Year. It's 2023. So your number one thing right now is to know exactly what you want. Exactly what you want. So write down right now for 2023, tell me exactly what you want. For 2023, tell me exactly what you want for 2023. 2023, I fill in the blank. What do you want? I don't know. Well, that'll be easy to achieve. What do you want? What do you want? Say again? I want to list more homes. Okay, what do you want?
100 transactions closed.
100 transactions closed. What do you want?
Be a lion and a killer.
Be a lion and a killer. Sweetheart, you're already a lion and a killer. I can already tell. Okay, so you're already that. What do you want?
Success.
Okay, success. All right, so now watch this. You ready? You wake up tomorrow morning, you've achieved your goal. You can get 100 listings. You want to list more houses? Okay, so how many homes did you list this year? 3. So if she gets 4, you've achieved your goal. Because you told me you wanted to list more. Oh, by the way, all of your listings are so are yours. Yours are $80,000 on average. They take 8 months to sell, and they're all short sales. Congratulations, you achieved your goal. You got exactly what you wanted. You said you wanted 100 listings that sell. You said, I want a few more listings. You said, I want to be successful. I would think that every day you wake up, you're successful. Because if you don't wake up, you're not. You with me? So here's the challenge, guys. Tell your buddy right now. Tell him what you want. Tell your buddy. What do you want? What do you want?
Triple. We want to triple our production.
Okay, triple. With the same volume or transactions?
No, more volume, more transactions.
So triple your volume?
Yeah.
Do you want it at a higher commission percentage or a lower commission percentage?
We just want volume, more work, more.
So you want volume, but you want to do all the deals for free?
No, of course, with our.
No. Tell me exactly what you want.
Well, double our production and make more money, of course.
Okay, you went from triple to double, but you can double and make more money than you made this year. Do you want to double your money?
Yes.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Yes.
Okay, so look up here, guys. You know this is too easy for me. All right, look up here. Shh. Listen to me. I got to update, Rudy, my bio. I'm at about 65,000 hours of coaching. 65,000 hours of solving problems for people. 65,000 hours of helping people become killers and successful and list 100 homes. All day long, it's all I ever do, right? It is innate in me. The number one problem I have is I say, tell me what you want. And they go, I want to double my business. And I go, transactions? And they go, sure. Sure is not yes. I go, what about volume? Oh yeah, I'd like that also. Okay, is that enough? Yeah, if I double my transactions and double my volume, I'm there. And I'm like, so what if it's all 0.5% commission? Well, I don't want that. If you tell me exactly what you want, I can help you get it. But if you are vague, you will be punished and you deserve to be. Do you understand that? Vague people get punished. I want to lose a little weight. Give me your hand. I'm going to cut it off. Congratulations, you achieved your goal. Oh, I didn't want that. I want to lose it from here. Okay, great. I'll cut it off. Whoa, no, whoa. But see, okay, watch this video because this is how most of you are operating. Ready?
What is your wish?
No. Okay, $1 million.
Do you get it?
No.
Do you get it? He got what he wanted. He said, I want $1 million. And the genie doesn't know bucks aren't bucks with multiple horns. The genie goes, oh, you want $1 million? So you say to me, I want 100 listings. I'm like, I can give you 100 listings. I can give you 100 listings right now. Here, I own a 191 unit building I just closed in Houston. I'll give it to you. You can be the listing agent. You need to pay me $100,000 to get it. No commission. You have to pay me $100,000. Congrats, you achieved your goal. You actually got 91 more than you wanted. If you are vague, you get punished. How many of you are married? Raise your hands. Or you've ever been married. Did anybody write down a list of everything they wanted before they met their spouse? I've been married for 29 years, same person. In California, where I was born and raised, where I lived up until a couple years ago, 72% divorce rate in my zip code. Like my buddy calls, he's like, dude, I'm getting married. I want you guys to come. And I'm like, bro, lease. You with me? Like lease option to buy in 100 years. Because it's a 72% divorce rate. Think about that. I live in Dallas now. Dallas is the #1 hookup destination in America for married people. I was like, honey, we got to move. This is not my jam. I have a journal sitting in my bedroom. I open it. It's this stupid little like florally kind of funky journal that somebody gave me. And you open it up. It says July 17th, 1991. And I was at a seminar with Brian Tracy. Some of you know that name. And he said, Tom, stand up. And I was his mentee right before we called it like a coach. And he's like, how much money are you making? That year I made like 150 grand. I was like 20. I had been living on my own since I was 17, bought my first place at 19, had a fake ID at 18, right? I'm making a couple $100,000. I'm winning. You with me? I'm with the girl that I'm sleeping with or dating, something like that. She wanted to go to the seminar. We went together. He says, you need to get married. And I was like, not even gonna look over in this direction. You with me? Like, that is not happening. And I said, how do I do that? He said, write down everything you want in the ideal spouse. And if you do that tonight, you can come back to the seminar tomorrow. And if you don't, you're not allowed in. So I went back to my room that night, kind of awkward, because someone else was there. And I wrote down brown hair, blue eyes, blonde hair, green eyes. Brown hair, blue eyes, dark skin to balance out the power. You with me? Right? Like prefer dark skin, right? So maybe my kids could get some color because I live under an umbrella. And I listed out, beyond the obvious, like hot, this. Then it was like, I prefer that her parents were still married. I prefer she has strong family values. I prefer that she has this. I prefer she likes to be outdoors. I prefer she's a little adventurous. I prefer she's more analytical than I am because I'm a bit of a free spirit and I need the yin to the yang. You with me? Right? And I actually said, I want a little yang also because I need a running mate. Like if she's too feminine, then I'm like, you know what I mean? I need someone that's like, fuck you. And I'm like, yeah, let's go, right? Like I need that, right? So that's my wife. And I've married her 3 times. I've never been divorced. So I just keep asking her. I'm going to ask her again. She thought I was going to ask her my 29-year anniversary was last week. And she was like on pins and needles the whole time. You're not going to ask me to marry you again, are you? That's how my wife talks to me. You're not going to ask me to marry again, are you? Well, I was going to, bitch. Damn. And if she was here, she'd be like, I told him, don't marry me anymore. It's 3's enough. But I'm a romance guy, right? I met my wife 1 month after I wrote that list. 1 month. No. I prospected my face off. I mean, it wasn't cold calling, it was just going out. Like, hey, what's going on? But I was like this, like, hey, you're kind of like, I'm like, oh my God, she's got the hair, she's a little dark skin. Okay, what? Are your parents married or single? I just start pre-qualifying. I had my script, my checklist. I was like, nope, sorry, gotta go, next. I mean, shit, I would have been a killer on like Tinder and all that kind of stuff, or Bumble and everything. I'd be like, nope, yes, qualify, marry me. I told my wife to then, not even girlfriend, to marry me like 60 days into dating. You know what she said? You're fucking crazy. And then she never talked to me again for like 90 days. And I kept making the 4 follow-up calls. You with me? Over and over and over. It's the same shit, right? Right or wrong, guys? You just wear the lead down until they say yes. She was finally like, okay, right? Okay, got it. And then she tried to like hook me up with all of her friends. She's like, you're really cool, but like, I think you'd be like, and I was like, oh, I'll sleep with all your friends, but you're the one. She was like, don't do that. I'm like, well, then don't introduce me that way. Like, I know what you're doing. Right or wrong, guys? I knew everything I wanted, met her, took me 18 months to follow up and convert. That's cool. That's the average time it takes for a seller to convert. I got that, 18 months, no problem. But I knew exactly what I wanted. You want $1 million? You want 100 listings at $500,000 at 2.75 average commission with wonderful clients that appreciate you and refer you more business? That's a little more exactly what you want. You with me? People that are vague, life punishes the vague wisher and rewards the specific ask. So ready? Do you want 500,000 in income? These are just numbers. Do you want 50 transactions? Do you want to do $30 million in volume? Do you want to sell 2,500 homes? What do you want? Tell me what you want and I can construct it. Be vague with me and I'm like, I don't know. It's like going to an architect and saying, hey, I want to build a house. What do you want? Some walls? Maybe a bathroom? They're like, leave. But this is your business, yes or no? So if you're not specific about what you want, you're going to get punished, and the market is already going to be punishing people. So you've got to be like 36 transactions, $800,000 average sales price, 2.75 retain, 4.5 to 5-star reviews on every single one of them, and I'm willing to go on 200 appointments to make it happen. And I'm going to make phone calls. Like, you got to be really precise. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yes, sir? Okay. So what do you want? I want appointments. I want listings. I want to punch you in the head. No, I don't. Listen, phone calls are a leading indicator. What do you want? I want to make $800,000 a year. You're in real estate. You never pay your taxes anyway, so it's all yours. I want to make $800,000 gross. I want to have $300,000 net to me after taxes. I want $300,000 net to me after taxes. That's what I want. What are you going to do with the $300,000? I'm going to pay off some debt. I want to be debt-free at the end of next year. Awesome. The more clear you are, the more you get it. But if you're like, I need to make a little more money, and I want to be kind of happy, and I want to be successful, shut up. Go get a job. Because you don't win in this business. The people that win, I'm like, hey, what do you want? I want to sell 155 transactions. I want 72% of them to be listings sold. I want the balance to be buyer sales. I want the buyers to come mainly from my past clients in Sphere by way of referral at a super low CAC. I'm going to get 35% of my listings from Google. I'm going to get 35% of my listings from open houses in this. And I'm going to get 35% of my business from my past clients in Sphere because some of them have to sell too. Which business would you invest in? That one or the one that's like, I want to get a few more appointments? You guys with me? This isn't motivational. This is called being strategic. The entire real estate world has kind of shut down, but there's a lot of transactions being done by people that know what the hell they're doing and are focused on that. So let's keep jamming. You ready? Here's some examples. We're the #1 team in our market, state, or country. I'm the most reviewed agent in town. I helped 25 or 250 families buy and sell real estate. I listed and sold X number of houses in 2023. Specific, 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 specific. Now, here's the bigger question. How many of you are planning to be in the business in the next 10 years? Say yes or no. Yes. Okay, now if you said no, are you retiring or you're just not going to make the trip? You know, guys, half the industry will be gone in the next 6 years, replaced by another half that will be gone in the next 6 years. We have a high churn industry, 87% failure rate. Who's in the business less than 5 years? Raise your hands. Really, less than 5 years. Raise your hands really high. 87% of you, well, this is your last seminar. Enjoy. Now, that's not me being like mean. That's just knowing the numbers. That's just the math, right? Like, you know, I make 40% of my free throws. Like, I'm not a good free thrower, right? It's just the math is the math is the math. So now, here's my question. So what are you building over the next 10 years? This is not rhetorical. You're supposed to be writing. What's your 10-year vision for your business? In 10 years, I'm selling 200 homes a year, doing $200 million in volume, earning top-line revenue of approximately $7.5 million. I have 6 sales associates on my team. I have 2 transaction coordinators, 2 marketing support people. I've got 1 person I just call Care Bear, and all she does is love on my past clients. That's her full-time job. And she'll generate 97 referrals for me every single year. What's up? Does that make sense? What are you building? Or, what you want to know what most people do? They just repeat last year, this year, and then the next year they repeat it again, and they repeat it again, and they repeat it again, and every year is like this. Come on, 7. Like, that sucks, right or wrong, guys? Do you know that right now in the US, 71.5% of all the transactions and all the volume are done by the top 25% of the agents in the MLS? That's the truth. Do you want to know an even more interesting number? What if I told you that 51% of all the transactions in your market and all the volume in your market are done by the top 10%? So if there's 10,000 agents, 1,000 of them do 51% of all the business. Do you know what's really scary? Of the 74%, 75% at the bottom, they say that the average is like, 1.5 to 2 transactions per person, but we know it isn't. I look at the MLSs, like every marketplace, all the time. I'm kind of a data nerd. I actually do love that stuff. And I love seeing this. #1 on listings sold, and it's like this person did, 795 listings sold. The next person did like 600, and it just goes like this, ding, and it starts dropping off. And then you get to the 10% is over, and now you're at like 11%, 12%, and it's like 8 listings sold, 8 listings sold, 7 listings sold. You get to the bottom 25, 3 listings sold. You get beyond that, it's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. That's the market, right or wrong, guys? That was the market during the pandemic. That was the market in 1991. That'll be the market in 2023. So what are you building? What do you want? You gonna be in the top 1%? The top 5%? Top 1% does 17%. The top 1% of the agents in Fort Lauderdale, they do 17.5% of all the transactions. Those men and women are killers. The top 5%, I don't want to misquote the number, it's like 36%. And then we know the top 50 are doing, or the top 10 doing 51%. It's the rich and the rest. You guys get that? The rich know what they're building. The rest repeat the same year over and over again. Okay, so let's keep jamming. Number 2. I want to know from you, what are the 3 most important things you're going to focus on in 2023? So before you write, listen to me. You only get 3 goals. You only get 3 areas of concentration. You only get 3 things to obsess about in your business. 3 things. What are those 3 things for you? What are those 3 things? Meaning, so watch this, guys. If you're sitting inside this room and you're one of my clients, and we've already done this workshop together maybe a couple weeks ago on Playbook, you're already saying to yourself, I'm only listening to Tom through the filter of the 3 things I'm trying to accomplish. My 3 most important goals in business. In business and in life, it's 1, 2, 3, too many. 1, 2, 3, too many, too many, too many, too many, too many, lose my concentration, nothing gets done. So I'm gonna give you some examples. Listing sold. I think you should have a listing sold goal. Now I'm giving you the basics here. I like your 100 listings sold at $500,000 average with 2.75% commission and a 4.8% star. You know what I mean? Like review. I think a second focus for all of you should be the most positive, called upon, recognizable brand in my market. Since 74% of consumers today are making decisions that they know, like, and trust you, and they've never met you before. But they like your jam. They like your vibe. They like what you're all about. Because they like your Instagram, they like your TikTok, they like your videos, they see your direct mail, right? They've heard about you, they know who you are. You're not a secret agent. 74% of consumers. Number 3, you would not do, unless you're on a team, personal development of the team. So maybe yours is, ready? You're gonna go on 200 listing appointments next year. And you're like, that's it. So now everything is about 200 listing appointments, building baby, with your hair, right? And that smile, you don't think you would kill? But not if you're a secret. Is that who that is? Right, Marley, you with me on this? But if you keep it a secret, or I don't know, if your brand on Instagram is like partying and hanging out, and it's beach time and all that stuff, that doesn't sound like the recognizable brand that's the most called upon in my marketplace. Now, I'm not saying living in South Florida, you can't have some beach time. You probably should have beach time and boat time and dance time and fun, but I better see a whole bunch of other professionalism about you at a whiteboard mapping out how you're gonna market this property. You on video saying, I just listed this expired listing. Let me explain that means. This person listed with somebody else. It didn't get sold. They were terribly disappointed. I followed up them, got them on the phone. We've had a conversation, and we agreed that we needed to repackage and reposition the property. So today, before I meet with that client to present a marketing strategy to get their home sold after it was on the market for 6 months and didn't sell in one of the hottest real estate markets on the planet, I'm gonna spend the next 3 hours mapping out how I'm gonna repackage and reposition this home. Check back with me later, because I'm gonna tell the story about, doing all the work now. And now they're like, she goes to the beach, she's super fun, like I love her hair, and she fucking repackages and repositions houses and gets them sold? You with me? That's a brand. Got it? Marley? What's your last name? Marley Walters. Okay, how long in the business?
Licensed for 12 years.
License. Okay, say again?
Full-time 8.
Full-time 8 years. How many homes will you sell this year? 25? What's your goal for next year? 50? Really? I got 10 grand says you can't do it. She's like, can I put you on video? She's already got it on video.
I got you.
Marley,
Yes.
what percentage will be buyers? What percentage will be listings?
It was about 50-50 this year. I'm trying to do 75-25.
Okay, 75, 25. All right, so Marley, 10 grand says you can't have, I think it's like 37 listings sold in the balance and buy styles to close 50 transactions in the calendar year 2023. 10 grand.
I'll take it.
You on? Okay, now, if you lose, hold on, and you will. No, you got to see the smile on her face because she's just like, you're messing with the wrong girl. So Marley, when you lose, you just have to write a check for $1,000, but I'm going to have you send it to a political party you don't like or a politician you don't like. And then I'm going to make like a big whoop-to-do on social, like Marley Walters would like to thank this politician for their incredible service and blah, blah, blah. And then I'm going to spend your $1,000 running ads in your local marketplace of that check with your photo to that politician. You with me? But then I'll just pay you 10 grand and you can do whatever the fuck you want. Is that cool? But that's only if you win. Okay, so when we're done, before the next speaker comes up and, the seminar continues, I'm gonna give you my cell phone and you're gonna text me. And here's the thing, you gotta text me once a week. And if you don't text me, bets off. But I was on vacation. Your phone doesn't work on vacation? Oh, I forgot to text you. I guess the bet wasn't meaningful to you. You gotta sometimes put your ass on the line, right? So I'm yet to ever lose a bet. Just in the last 4 months, I gave 3 women $10,000 checks. Now you ready? Hold on, no. Oh yeah. One is in Southwest Florida who got impacted by Hurricane Ian, right? And she booked 80 listing appointments in 80 days. That's badass, right or wrong. The other 2 listed 100 homes each in 9 months. I don't know if you're thinking big enough. But are we in? Okay, shake my hand. Cool. Marley, I need your card, and then I'll text you, and then you'll have my cell, and it's me, and I speak almost exclusively in emojis. You'd be like, I didn't sell a house this week. You just get the poop. Okay, now you ready? The second part is, now Marley just got a heavy dose of this. The second thing is, number 1 is you gotta know exactly what you want. Number 2 is you gotta know why you want it. So Marley, I'm gonna ask you to make up a list of like 20 reasons why you wanna kick my ass. 20 reasons why you wanna sell 50 houses. 20 reasons why it's a must for you. We don't do what we should do. We only do what we must do. Are you married or single? Are you married or single? I'm not single, but I'm not married. On Facebook, they call that complicated. Kids or no kids? No kids. Pets? Man, no pets, no fish. Or you have multiple prospects? Just only one prospect. Okay. We'll be texting a lot. I'll be getting to the bottom of all this shit. All right. So how old are you, Marley? 36? Okay, cool. So the thing is at 36 or at 26 or at 106 to know what motivates you, right? So once you know what motivates you and you say, this is what I want, if the motivation is aligned, then what happens is you go, this is what I want, and your behaviors match what you want. But when you don't know what you want and you don't know why you want it, you're a mess. Do you know any agents that are just a total mess? Shit shows? You know what I'm talking about? Every day is like, oh my God, right? Every day, right? Know what you want, know why you want it, behaviors align, and all the work becomes a little bit easier. Does that make sense? So, for example, you need to create a future that's more compelling than the work required. You need to create a future that is more compelling than the work required. So the work sucks. Ready? Getting on an airplane yesterday after doing, I got up at 4, did my shit, made my calls, got on a plane, worked the entire time on the plane, got to the hotel, on the phone the whole time, helping clients, that's the work. Call my wife, checking in, hey, but I got like 2 more conference calls I had to do, I'll call you at 9. Work, grind, work. But the future that my wife and I decided in 2015 of where we wanted our life to be in 20 years is so compelling that I'll work my face off every day, 7 days a week. I don't care because I know what I'm working towards. Does that make sense? So one of the ways, right, to align your vision and your behaviors is just to, look at this bottom one. Actually, here, I'm gonna show you, ready? Click. Write yourself a 20-year letter. So you're 56, right? 20 years from now. Hey, it's me, it's Marley. I'm 56. Listen to this. and then you describe your life. Everything you want in 20 years. Everything in detail. If you're vague, what will you get? Fring, $1 million. So I wrote my 20-year letter, but I wrote it for my entire family. You with me? 2 boys, wife, mother-in-law, dogs. I married an Italian, so I've got like 68 nephews, all named Tony. So you know what I'm talking about, right? Big family. I write the letter and it goes like this. Kath and I are sitting in Jackson Hole at our estate, more in love today than we've been after 46 years of marriage, and I talk about, for 3 paragraphs, just the love affair that I have with my wife. Then I talk about my boys, and I'm like, Michael's 35, Stephen's 33. They become men of tremendous character. I'm so proud of their accomplishments, professionally and personally. Their wives, their children. I'm describing people they haven't even met yet, and kids they don't even know they're with me. And I'm describing it all in detail. And there's nothing more magical than for me to see my boys throwing their sons and daughters into the air, catching them in the smile. This is in my fucking 20-year letter. I read it to my wife. She starts crying. She's like, yes, I'll marry you again the next time you ask. Let's get that right away. You with me? So I go through all the family. But then I talk about my boys saying, both my boys have their own businesses, their own identities, their own personalities. They do their own thing because I'm not raising professional sons. Do you know people like that? They just trade on their parents. And I'm like, their boys, they've done their own thing. They got their own stuff. And we do stuff as a family. A lot of it is our charity work, our contribution, the things we want to do to give back, right? And I'm describing all this. Then I go into business. Then I go into where we live. Then I go into it's just everything in my life. Now, what if I told you we just bought a lot in Jackson Hole, the exact lot that I wanted? Now, it's currently just a piece of dirt. You with me? But I already know what the house looks like. I already know where the pickleball court is. I know everything about it. So when we walked onto the lot, I was like, hey, this is it. My wife's like, shit, this is it. Because we wrote it in 2015. You with me on this? Now, the thing that's already pissing me off is we've done about 80% of the things on the list. And my wife, who's a badass, is like, you weren't thinking big enough. And I was like, it wasn't set in stone. It's on a Word doc. Add more shit. You with me? And not stuff. Contribution, things that make our hearts sing, the times with our family and friends, the moments, the memories, the stuff that actually matters in the dash of your life, that's what it's packed full of. It's not about a piece of dirt in real estate. You with me? It's about who we've decided to be. Now, can you write that on your own? Hell yeah, you can. You'll probably be the only person in the room that does it. Think about that. And then in 10 years, you'll be like, dude, because you'll hit all this stuff and you'll be like, holy shit. And then when the future's super compelling, when a deal falls apart, you're like, I feel bad for the client. I wish I would have done better. I learned the lesson. Next, move on, keep going, because I know exactly what I'm doing. I know why I'm doing it. I know who I'm doing it for. Does that make sense? Okay, do me a favor, turn to your buddy and say, he was really talking to you. Now, you're gonna get a copy of all the slides, I promise. But let me give you just one thought. You ready? Marley. Have you ever done any visualization work before? Right, so you get like if I said to you all right now, because someone will always say, I don't know how to visualize. And I'm like, close your eyes and picture a banana. Did you see a jaguar? They're like, no, I saw a yellow banana. I'm like, oh, okay, so you actually know how to visualize. But here's the challenge. If Marley starts to visualize over and over again this moment of Tom Ferry handing her a check for $10,000, this moment of Tom Ferry handing her the check for $10,000. She sees it over and over and over. We all have this thing in our mind called the reticular activating system, right? The reticular activating system doesn't know the difference between truth or false, doesn't care lies. Whatever you keep telling yourself over and over again, like you need a new car and you go, I really want this car. And you think about the new car you want. You're like, I want this one, this one, this one. And then what do you see everywhere when you're driving? Oh. Now, do you think the Jaguar dealership in town's like, here she comes, pull the black one up next to her? You think they're reading your mind? Or are you so good that the moment you say, I want a Bentley, I want a Toyota, I want a Prius, I want this, and you want it in black with this kind of rims, you see it everywhere? That's what I'm asking Marty to visualize. Now, we got to do a little bit of this. and then we're gonna do some Q&A in like 10 minutes, and I'm not gonna get through all my slides, but you're all getting a copy. Does that sound cool? Okay, so let's keep jamming. I gotta get to this part. So once you write down the 3 things that you want, I want 125 listings at this dollar amount, I want this, 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 very clear, very specific, right? Then you gotta ask yourself, what are the activities required for me to get there? Like, what do I actually have to do to make that happen? So the first thing is, you gotta acknowledge that everything has to be focused on growth right now. Everything I'm doing is about growing my business, growing my brand, serving more clients, like no more being a sheep, it's all about being a lion. There's 3 mega trends you need to be paying attention to. Ready? Number 1 is the millennial cohort of human beings in America is the largest cohort of human beings. They are 22 to 42. Generally speaking, regardless of economy, interest rates, markets, what do 22 to 42-year-old human beings do? Did you say get laid? I was like, a lot. Well, let's call it coupling, whatever that looks like. They go from renting to buying. They have their first kid, maybe their third. All these things happen, yes or no, guys? And it's the single largest body of humans in America right now. You guys with me? But the boomers have all the real estate. What's your demographic farm for 2023? How many boomers are you currently marketing to? How many people 75 and older? Have you already gone into your MLS, gone to like Remine or another and typed in, show me every 75-year-old with a 2-story house in this area that has no mortgage? Oh wow, there's 1,100 of them. Generally speaking, when you're 75 years and older and you have no mortgage and you have a 2-story house, what do you eventually do? No, you never go to the 2nd floor. And then eventually, what do? Eventually, you sell it. You say, we don't need this much space anymore. I don't need the big backyard anymore. I want something smaller. I want a simpler life. Now, it's hard to imagine that a real estate agent in South Florida doesn't have a demographic farm that you're marketing to. That's incomprehensible to me. It's the 2nd biggest trend happening right now in real estate. And many of you knew it when I said it, but when you hear it and you know it and you don't do it, you didn't hear it. Make sense? But the 3rd biggest trend is this. 63% of all the, so how many homes are there in America? Somebody tell me the number. How many homes in America? I'm gonna punch all of you in the face. You're in housing, yes? Yes? How many homes in America? 133 million. How far behind are the builders? 5 million. 5 million. So we should have 138 million homes, but right now builders, the cost has gone up. Now with capital markets, now with interest rates, they're a little bit of a panic. They'll come back, but we're 5 million behind from 2007, 8, 9, 10. That's all it is. But there's 133 million. How many of them don't have a mortgage? Do you know? 39%. 39% of 133 million homes do not have a mortgage. Do you know every one of those homeowners in your area? Can those people make different decisions today with 100% equity? They can do whatever they want, right or wrong, guys? Right. And they probably bought the house a while ago, and now they're sitting in a situation where if they wanted to go sell that house, they can go pay cash for the next one. And what do you think is going to be one of the biggest trends we see in the US over the next 2 years? All cash buyers. You guys already saw it with people that were selling and moving someplace else. The Northeast saw it in droves. We bought our home in 1947 for $8. And we're selling it for $640,000. And we're going to go all cash and go buy like a $400,000 condo, 1 bedroom, no bath. You with me? We saw it in droves. That's a mega trend you need to pay attention to. But the other thing you got to pay attention to is if 63% of the people that have a mortgage have a 3 or lower interest rate, how often are they going to trade? No, they will. They will, but they will trade for a couple different reasons, and I'm going to show you. It's there. They'll trade. Because what do? Get a divorce and say, screw you, we're done. But, well, our interest rate is 3.2. So why don't we live together in misery for longer? Somebody's going to be moving. You with me? Diapers, death, diamonds, divorce, and diplomas. Constant and never ending. By the way, the number of clients I have right now that are now trying to figure out probates, because let's go back to this. Ready? That's the US right there. If you had any doubt about how insanely great it is to be in mortgage, title, real estate, building, that tells you why you're in the right place. That's why Rudy is going to kill it, right? The business is just going to continue to grow because he's saying, look at the demographic between 22 and 42. Look at me, I think you and I together in the Gen X category, right? The baby boomers in yellow have all the real estate with all the money, and 76 to 99, their houses have been paid off a long time ago. And by the way, the 99 is actually my Uncle Frank. He turned 100 2 weeks ago. He's the last of the 101st Airborne Division that came in on Normandy, right? Paratrooped in. He's a badass. Yeah, super. If you follow me on Instagram, you know, because I took my boys to go spend time with them in Boston, and it was just absolutely fantastic. That guy, like, Frank, how you been? I had to go to the dentist recently. I'm like, how was that? He's like, Novocaine. I'm like, you did Novocaine? Nah. That's what you when you're 99 and you went to like war in World War II. Novocaine. Some of you are like, I can't even sleep at night. 6 pills. Some of you are like, which 6? Guys, the future is bright for us if you're a brilliant marketer, if you understand demand gen, if you build a world-class brand. So I promised that I would give you the top lead sources. There they are. Now, you're not going to do all of them, but if you want to know where all the deals are happening in mass from really quality real estate professionals, and it's not all in one. It's like I get a bunch of deals from my past clients in Sphere. I get a bunch of deals from social content, paid and organic. So I'm putting money behind my posts so more people see it. Geographic farming is killing it right now. Being the local community expert, being the neighborhood expert has never been more important than right now. Mega open houses and open houses, absolutely killing it. Educational video content, of course. Direct mail, just listed, just sold, yikes. Circle dialing, which is not cold calling. It's, hey, I just sold your neighbor's home down the street. Curious about the price? Would you like to know? What do they say? Yeah. Sold for $864,000. Can you believe that? Did you see it when it was on the market? They're like, I didn't see it. Hey, do you have the same 3-bedroom, 2-bath, the L shape with the pool? Like, do you have the same property? Yes. $864. Probably worth more though. So we have a problem right now. And they're like, what are you talking about? We have a problem. So there was 4 offers on that property. Now, if they would have listed with me 2 years ago, there would have been like 38 offers on the property. We had 4. One person is your new neighbor. 3 buyers right now are crying because they desperately want to be in this community. Do you know anybody in the area that has a home like yours that's thinking about $864,000 or more? Like they're thinking about making a move? Like that's a really effective strategy today. Does that make sense? All right. Niche farming, boomers with no mortgage, agent referrals, Google pay-per-click. This is not in order. This is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is just what's working. Non-owner occupied. There's no investor properties in Florida, right? Yeah. Phoenix, Arizona, 33% of every home is owned by an investor today in Phoenix, right? Helping expireds and FSBOs because they're back in arbitraging portals. So do you have anything on there that you could add? Because all of those, when you get the QR code, all those can be downloaded, all my scripts, all the systems for free. You with me? Like it doesn't do any good sitting on my website. I want you all to have it. All right, we know this. Oh, nope, don't hit it. Don't do the QR code. Let me tell you the story. Rudy, you'll appreciate this. You know when you meet someone that's like a rock star and they say, they're smart, they go, hey, if there was one thing I can do, which I actually hate that question because there's never one thing. You and I both know as CEOs, it's 1,000 things done over and over again that make you successful. But the guy that asked me, Mike Fields, is a very successful agent. So I said, well, what's the question? Kind of his coach, all navigating back to me. So they come up with this concept, because I'm like, QR codes is definitely where it's at. So he and his coach, they sent it to me, and I'm like, yeah, definitely do that. So here's the postcard. Now, first of all, where's his face? Now, don't hit the QR code. Do not hit the QR code. I see you with your phone. Don't do the QR code, because he doesn't want you as a captured lead. You're going to take this postcard, you're going to do it yourself. So, Rudy, he sends out 12,000, but he does it, 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, right? He does the first 3,000, and all of a sudden his website is blowing up, because every time they hit that QR code, they automatically go to his website. And most people have an iPhone, so it automatically captures cell phone, email, name, information. You guys with me? So all of a sudden, he's getting all these names, addresses, and phone numbers, which is great, but the real thing was people want to know the value of their home. So he ended up, after 12,000 of these, with 285 people that said, I'd like to know the value of my home. Would you call those potential sellers? Yeah. I would. And now he only listed 9 houses from the 285 so far. But he vacuumed up 285 sellers. So they call me, they're all excited. We did it! It worked! What do you think I said? Send it again. Send it again. What? I'm like, when you see an infomercial that works, they don't stop running it. They don't go, oh, well, he sold a bunch of shit. Turn it off. Golfer, run plays at work, right? Oh man, I made this adjustment to my swing. I got my shoulder a little bit tighter, right? Like, oh man, I'm getting the ball like extra 10 yards, right? Run it over and over and over and over and over. So guess what he does? He makes it orange. I wanted to punch him in the face. I was like, why'd you do that? He's like, well, they've already seen the black one. I'm like, you sent out 12,000. Only like 285 saw the black one. Send it again. He sends the orange one. He actually gets a really good response. Only got 7 listings this time to the same exact list. The same exact 12,000 houses. Only got 7 listings the next time. So what do you think I told him? Send the black one again. Then send the orange one. Then send the black one. Then send the orange one. And until you stop making it, then you can adjust. How many of you guys get what I'm talking about? The cardinal sin you all face. I did this open house this one time, and I had so many people through, and I did like 4 deals from that open house. Did you do an open house the next day? No, I was busy with buyers. Did you do one the next weekend? No, I was busy. Did you ever do an open house again? And they're like, I'm an idiot, huh? Yeah. As a matter of fact, you are. You ran a play that worked, and you stopped. What are you, the Miami Dolphins? Oh, now you guys get it. I'm just messing with you. Oh, it's Florida. Yeah, I've been to the Dolphin Stadium. No one from Florida is there. No, you know what I'm talking about. I'm a Rams fan. I go to the Rams game, and the entire other half of the crowd, if we're playing the Raiders, are all Raiders fans. NFL's everywhere. It's a global sport. Get over it. All right. So you ready? So where do you need to put your concentration? Where do you need to put your concentration? Where do you need to put your Now, my argument for all of you is, what if you double your listing leads? That's all those cards as an example, and all the 15 that you're going to download, they're all designed just to get you more listings. Buyers are easy. Buyers are easy. But you can only have 1 or 2 focuses, like where you really get into something. You're like, I'm going to crack the nut of this. Do you want to double the quantity of listing referrals? That sounds good. Do you want to double the conversion of percentage on your listing appointments? Start getting 75% versus 50%, start getting 80% or 90%? What if you just doubled the number of listing appointments? What if you left this conference sometime today, you went back to your office and you wrote up on a wall, Marley, 2023, help 50 families buy and sell real estate, kick Tom Ferry's ass, right? And then she's going to go 50, 49, 48, 47, 46, 48, all the way down to 1, and she's going to track and measure that. But Marley's smart enough to know transactions are a lagging indicator. The leading indicator is appointments. So if she wants 75% of it to come from listings, 37, she's probably going to have to go on 75 or more listing appointments, because some people want to know and some people actually want to list their house. And you want to go on both. So she's going to have a board in her office that says 75 listing appointments, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 75. Does that make sense? How many of you guys are with me on this? And for her to sell 17 and a half buyer sales, the difference, or whatever that number is, Marley, you're gonna probably have to do 3 or 4 times that on first-time buyer consultations, because not every buyer's ready to buy now, right? So now all of a sudden she's like, 17 times 4 is a number I can't figure out in my head, let's call it 80. So now she knows, I gotta go on this many listing appointments, this many buyer appointments, so she's only focusing on appointments. And then every day, what does she wakes up in the morning like a lioness? Look at her hair, stand up. Stand up. Oh yeah, right? She's like you, she's a killer. So she's gonna wake up in the morning, she's gonna push back that mane and say, Mama's gonna eat today. And then she's gonna go find an appointment, right or wrong. Or you're not, and you're gonna send me a check for $1,000 to a political party you don't want the money to go to, and I'm gonna run $1,000 worth of ads with that politician and your face and your cell phone and your email, because I am evil in the most loving way of accountability. Does that make sense? All right, so let's, oh, I love Warren Buffett. All right, there it is. Hit the QR code. Everybody do it real fast. Rudy, do you have time for like 10 minutes of Q&A?
Mike?
Rudy, I'm sorry I didn't get through even close to all my
Tom,
slides.
do not apologize, please. Guys, give it up for Tom.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure, man. It's always a pleasure. So, Dave, we're going to open it up for some Q&A.
Mike,
You want to start there?
I'm ready.
All
Whenever
right,
you
guys, have your questions ready. I'm sure that you do. Raise your hand.
And the answer is no, I won't make a bet with you. But Marlon,
All right, I'm racing Rudy. Who on this side has a
okay,
question?
anything goes, guys. First of all, did everybody get this? Okay, now heads up, just really fast. There is so much on there for free, you're gonna be overwhelmed. You with me? You're gonna be a little overwhelmed. So let me tell you what I want you to do. Write this in your notes, you ready? How many of you actually plan to do way more business in 2023?
Make noise.
Okay.
And make some noise, guys. Come on.
Don't get all motivational on me. How many of you have some level of uncertainty with the current plan? Like, will the current plan get you there? Who's got a little of that? Raise your hands really high. Okay. Who wants more certainty? Raise your hands. Okay. So somewhere on that page, it's going to say, would you like a business consultation with one of Tom's consultants? If you are a serious lion, click yes. If you are a sheep, avoid it. Got it? I'm dead serious. Because my team doesn't want to talk to sheep. They don't want to talk to. They're going to go, so what are you committed to? I don't really know. They're like, oh God, I've got a sheep on the phone. But if you say, I want this, they're going to go, cool, let's talk about the strategies to get there, right? Where did your deals come from last year? What do you want to do this year? That's clearly working. Let's do more of this. Stop doing that shit. It doesn't work. Let's do more of this. It works. You remind me of it. Like, I'm going to connect you with another one of our clients. Let's get you into the fold. You with me? But if you're a sheep, that'll scare the hell out of you. So don't do it. Save us the time. Does that make sense? Okay, do me a favor. Turn to your buddy and say, are you a lion or a sheep? And then tell them the truth. Okay, you know who you are. And look, sheep, 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 I'm not making you wrong. I love lamb chops. So I love you. Don't be a sheep. All right, sorry, question.
Rock and roll. Claudienne, you had a question for Tom, didn't you? Claudienne wants to meet you afterwards, Tom, if you don't mind. She's a phenomenal agent. Give it up for Claudienne, guys.
Let's go.
Hey, thanks for being here, Tom. I've been coached by your dad for many moons ago, so thanks for your presence. Thanks, Rudy, for having this conference. Quick question. I'm trying to lead generate to increase my team members. So I'm looking, you asked, what do I want in 2023? I want 1,000 agents in my organization.
Good.
75% of them to produce in 2023 at least.
Like to cap or to produce?
To cap and produce, so both.
Okay, no, because you can have 75%, you have 750 people sell one house and not cap. Be frickin' clear on what you want.
All right, I got it.
That's why I asked, do you want 75% to cap or do you just want them to sell one house? Now, 750 that cap means you probably need 4,000 agents. Because there's just going to be a lot of sheep in your organization.
And we don't want a lot of sheep.
I don't. No, I love sheep. They're delicious. Little garlic and olive oil, like yumbo.
So my question is,
Yeah.
do you coach realtors on growing and expanding their realtors?
Only about 2,500.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Sign me up.
We have 15,000 clients in 29 countries, right? So we have 237 business coaches that speak all kinds of different languages. You with me? German, Israeli, Spanish, Portuguese, French, Italian, right on down the line. The key for you is when you click that button, right? You need to say, I want to know about team coaching. Team coaching. So we have a bunch of different types of coaching. Luxury coaching, team coaching, new agent coaching. You with me? So when you're like, I want this, then they're going to go, oh, I need to get you with these consultants that only talk to team leaders, business owners, CEOs, so you're talking the same language. Does that make sense? Yeah, we got you covered.
Tom, Dave?
By the way, thank you for being with my dad. My dad is my mentor and my father, and I love him, so thank you. Yes, question.
Hi, so I'm Alexandra from Miami.
Where are you from originally?
Middle Eastern and Romanian, but my last name is Rojas.
Okay. Rojas, and I'm Romanian. Yes, I love it. Okay.
So I've been coaching.
I have clients in Romania.
Okay.
Yes,
All right. Well, I
yes.
speak fluently, and I've been
Beautiful.
doing the videos in different languages.
Smart.
So you can see
Microphone closer so they can hear you.
So I've been coaching with you since 2018, like with the company,
Yep.
and I feel that sometimes, like I set the goals, and
Yeah.
we always reach them at the end of the year, but I feel that I'm not really putting, like I'm kind of limiting myself, right?
Yeah.
Like last year, my goal was 550 GCI, and we reached it, but then I,
Okay,
like,
by the way.
700.
Okay, by the way, I set a goal of 550 GCI and I reached it. Can we give her a giant round of applause?
Huge.
Now, but I know what, okay, so you've heard me say this before, but let me say it to them. Dissatisfaction is a symptom of ambitious people. When you are dissatisfied, you're ambitious. You with me? So she knows you can, so you and I probably should have a bet. Do you know what I mean? You're a client, I should stretch you.
So my coach told me to make a bet with you, and
Perfect.
It's like, and if you don't reach it, you have to walk across the stage in a bikini. So I was like, that's a win-win, because
Wait, why is walking across the stage at my event in a bikini a win-win?
I'll tell you later. Not on my girl.
No, I'm way more interested now. Okay, here. That's my cell. Text me and tell me the story. Okay, so what are you gonna do next year? What's the goal?
So the goal is 770 for next
Okay.
year. And again, like I feel that I stop every time I reach something. Like I stop, right? I've been doing the videos. I know I could do a lot more. My goal was to be on stage at the summit.
You're getting
I was
closer
on
right now.
stage, but I
Yeah.
was in a CMA a day. You
Yes.
did my case study.
Yes.
But like I always feel that okay, I could have been like a speaker. Like I want more. So
Yeah.
it's just like I don't know how to push myself to like get to that.
Okay.
Or like am I surrounding myself with the right people? Is it I don't know.
Are you a solo agent with transaction support and marketing support, or do you have a team?
I was in a team, I'm getting out. I'm gonna be solo.
You were on a team,
Yes.
but it wasn't your team.
It was.
It was your team and you
It was
disbanded
my
it?
team and my soon-to-be ex-husband.
Ah, details. Oh, by the way, dissatisfaction and divorce, motivation. Very motivated. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I know the answer, though there wasn't a question. You have my cell phone. You're going to text me. I'm on a board call kind of throughout the rest of the day in the green room. You'll see me kind of wandering around, but I got to do some work too. So text me. I'll be on a plane tonight around 6, and we can chit-chat.
Okay.
Cool, cool?
All right.
Okay. I have a feeling she's going to make $1 million next year. I have a feeling.
Yes.
Okay? Okay, and by the way, ironic that the two of you are sitting next to each other, right? Now, her coach will be different from your coach because she needs to work with a coach that's working with CEOs and team leaders and wants to, like all that stuff, right? How long have you been with your current coach? 2 years. Okay, and how long have you been with your coach before? 2 years. Okay, so kind of every 2 years, have you talked to anybody on my team about maybe the next coach for next year? I've been shopping for a new coach. Well, we have 237, so it's a large, like what color scheme do you want? But
I just don't want to transfer until I find
you definitely, thank you. You definitely want to find so you should call the office and say, redo my profile, and then they'll say, you should go talk to this one, and this one. You with me? Otherwise, there's too many coaches. We know every one of them intimately. We know what their strengths and weaknesses are, what their skill set is, what they're the best at, what they're not great at. So don't, it'll take you a long time. Just call the office and say, I need a personal shopper. Make sense? Okay, and give her a giant round of applause for being upset about $500,000 in GCI. Okay, question over here.
All right,
David?
I got a question on this side, Tom.
Shoot.
Tom, nice to meet you. My name is Brian Amasta.
Nice to meet you, Brian.
Question. What if my goals are not a number of transactions or a monetary goal on a yearly basis?
Then
Because
what
I
are-
beat my goals every year.
Yeah, what are they?
My goal is to motivate the world just like you are,
Yes.
but I have a barrier that you don't have.
You don't
How-
think big?
I'm sorry?
You don't think big?
I think way bigger. But I'm in a wheelchair, you're not.
So talk to my buddy Nick. He has no arms and no legs and doesn't use a wheelchair.
Awesome.
No, I mean, Brian, I get you. I love you, man. But if you declare that that's your limitation, then that's your limitation. Right? Nick would say, Vujicic, you know what I'm talking about? Right? Like, he would be like, what? You with me? Say it to my buddy David Goggins. You know who that is? You should Google David Goggins. Right? Born and raised, African American, born and raised in basically the heart of the frickin' KKK in our country. Was tortured more than you can imagine, had a horrible father, horrible upbringing, weighed like 300 pounds, and one day watching television saw Navy SEALs and said, I'm gonna do that. And became the 35th African American ever to become a Navy SEAL. And it took him 3 times. And when he broke his ankle on the last time, and they said, hey man, if you can't do the runs, you can't do the swims, you can't do the stuff, you can't be it. And on the 3rd time, if you don't make it, you're out, you're done. He frickin' duct taped his broken ankle together, put his boot on, and kept running. So what's your fucking limitation?
The world.
Love that.
Bro, Brian, said with love. You with me? Said with love. But I'm not gonna buy that. You're a baller. I'm watching your eyes the whole time. I see your energy. So how are you gonna get it out? And by the way, if you're gonna be a speaker and you're gonna write books and you do all the shit, I'm pretty good at that stuff. I know people. I can introduce you to people. Does that make sense? Dude, it's not gonna be resources for you. It's gonna be how resourceful are you. Make sense?
Love that.
I can introduce you to tons of people. Okay?
All right, got another question here, Tom.
But don't start with the limitation, dude. Start with
Mic
what's
check.
possible.
Okay.
I'll give you myself. Question?
Hello.
I can't see anything, man. It's like, oh.
I'm Karen.
Hey, Karen.
Yes, with Extreme Realty. Thank you. Thank you for this presentation. I am, sorry.
No, I got to get through the,
Okay,
you
so
look like Jesus. It's like, oh.
I just got my real estate license 2 months ago.
Congrats.
Yeah, so I'm pretty green, and I just met another young man who said he's 3 days here. So we're pretty green, and we're just studying in this market the way it is. What I've heard of you said, and they're inspirational, but I want to know what's your best advice for the newbies? Thank you.
Okay, hold on.
All right, good question.
Hold on. Clicker's not working. Newbie. A morning routine that fires you up. Get to the office by 8:30 or 9. And if you get there and you're the first person, awesome. If you're the 10th, get there at 7:30. Hey, Karen, you ever built a business before? Have you ever built a business before? I'll take that as a no. 90% failure rate, just for small businesses. 87% failure rate in real estate. You want to know the number one reason why they fail? Don't have a plan, don't have a schedule. That's all it is. You know what they do? They're like fun people that like houses. And they are sheep, and they're yummy. And they get eaten up every single day. Are you married or single? Married, kids or no kids? One child. Do you have to make money or do you want to make money? I can't hear you. Don't talk like a sheep. I can't hear you. You have to make money. How much money do you need to make every month? I think you're lying. Okay, so you ready? Here's the formula. How much money do I need per month? What's it cost me to run my house and run my life and run my business, my spouse, kids? Then it's how much outside income do I have? So what do we need? How much outside income do I have? Oh, well, my spouse makes, what if her spouse makes 8 and they need 10? And you currently aren't working, you're not making any money, so you're just going in the hole, $2,000 every month, right? It's keeping it real. So her average commission in this town is probably, I don't know, is it 15 grand? Right? 15, maybe 20 if she gets lucky, maybe 30, maybe if you get really lucky, maybe 40 if you get super lucky. The reality is you need to sell 3 or 4 houses a year. That schedule will cause you to sell 20. So you won't follow it because it'll be uncomfortable. How old is your kid? 5. Are you going to tell him, hey, you know what? Just be an Instagram sensation. Don't worry about good grades. You going to tell him that? You say, just be an athlete. Don't worry about education. Because that's worked out for so many people. Is that what you're going to tell him? Or are you going to be like, look, we're going to be disciplined. We're going to be focused. We're going to do the right things. You're going to learn all this shit. You may not use it ever. I have no idea how to use trigonometry. I took it for like 14 days. I smoked weed and was like, forgot it all instantly, right? But there was this healthy dose of raised by a single mom, education. You with me? And like with my kids, I'm militant. I don't want to go to college. I didn't go to college, but you're going to college just to grow up. And then, oh, by the way, there's some cool classes there. But holding them accountable, you need to hold yourself accountable the same way. Like your child could be the greatest gift of motivation ever. Say to your kid, when mom sells 10 homes, you get to go on any vacation you want. What's your 5-year-old going to say? Every day, mommy, sell a house today? Right or wrong, guys? And then if you let your 5-year-old do a vision board of where your 5-year-old wants to go on that vacation, and they get to print it out and color it up and put it all over the board, and it says, when mommy sells 10 homes, now shit's real, right or wrong? So you're going to do, look at office at the same time, business routine, daily hot sheets. You got to study the MLS every single day. Now, you don't even know how to study it right now. But what are you going to look at? What are the new listings that came on the market? What's the average days on the market? How many price reductions were there, right? Are those price reductions selling? What is selling? What's the per square foot for condos right now? What condos are selling? What condos aren't selling? What SFRs are selling? What's not selling? You need to be like looking at it because you're trying to understand the math of it. So you're not going to get it immediately, but every expert knows they look at that 2-3 times a day because it's like The Matrix. If you know the movie The Matrix, when Neo finally saw it, he saw the code and he was like, now I get it. That's how you have to get with the MLS because it tells you everything. So when people say, how's the market? You could say, what part of town and what type of property. Does that make sense? That'll make you an expert. Then, what's it say? Role play. Because right now, you don't know what to say to clients. So you know what you're going to do? Either say the wrong thing or say nothing. Fear will make you say nothing, right? The wrong thing is okay in the beginning because you got to take some swings, right? But it's better if you start reading scripts and dialogues. Read tonight Phil Jones, exactly what to say, learn the 27 magic phrases, right? And start using this stuff when you're talking to people and watch how it opens them up and has them be more engaged and answer more questions. You're like, shit, this works. What'd you do before real estate? Don't talk like a sheep. Okay, so administrative, right? So did you have to follow processes and checklists? And if you didn't, what happened? You were in trouble or they fired you, right? Real estate's the same way. Here's your process and checklist. 5 people that you know, 5 people that you don't know, 4 follow-up people that said they want to do something. You're not going to have a lot in the beginning, but you're going to build it up over time, and you got to shoot 2 videos every day. Then you got to manage your business, your transactions, your marketing. Takes a couple hours every day. Then you got to go on appointments. So in the beginning, what if you just said to every one of your friends, hey, I'm new in real estate. I know you don't want to sell, but I want to come over and talk to you about selling your home like you were a client. Will you just practice with me? Would that be a good idea? What do you guys think? Better to practice with friendlies that will give you honest feedback and say, that was kind of awkward. I have no idea what you're talking about, right? Than actually do it with a seller. Because that could cost you 15, 20, 30,000 bucks. And oh, by the way, what if I told you one of my clients, cute little gal from Houston, Texas, I made her a bet, 10 grand, she couldn't go on 100 appointments, and it was like from August to the end of the year, and she went on 115, 16, something like that. And guess what? The last 16, she called like 16 people in her church and just said, I'm in this bet with this guy, Tom Ferry, and if I get over 100 appointments, he didn't tell me what kind of appointments, so I can just come over to your house, we can drink some wine, and then I can just talk to you about real estate, and it counts, and I get 10 grand. They're like, come on over. And one of them was like, that's totally funny, we wanted to list with you anyway, and she got a listing. And you know the best part is? She had sold 3 houses from January to August, and then she sold 15. Because whoever goes on the most appointments, someone says yes. Right? It's like a single guy, like, hey, will you date me? No. Hey, will you date me? No. Yes. Right? Like someone's going to say yes. If you just ask enough people, so, you know, sleep with me, sleep with me, sleep with me, someone's going to be like, sure, I'm not doing anything, whatever. Like, some of you are like, I'm writing that script down. All right. The dude over there with the hair has already wrote it down. Okay, so does that make sense? Okay. Heads up, fuck your feelings. Choose your hard. You with me? Because it's going to be hard in the very beginning as you're building your business. But you're building a business. You know what you're really building? A cathedral. And that means you got to lay bricks, one after another. And it's hard, and it's gritty, and it's grinding, and everyone around you is going to say, come on, let's go play. Come on, you have one in escrow. You're doing great. Let's go celebrate. No, because if I don't get 10, my kid's going to be pissed. Does that make sense? Now, step 2, go to my YouTube channel, right? Type in on the search bar of my YouTube channel, new agent. There's probably 80 videos on there where I go super detailed. You with me? Hey, you're a new agent, you're starting out. Avoid this, don't do that, avoid this, go to your broker, get this, this, and this, because they already have it. Use this, put it in your CRM, make this many calls, get this kind of headset, like very detailed for you. Does that make sense? But since I was supposed to be done 10 minutes ago, I got to stop. Okay, so Karen, helpful? Okay. All right.
I got one more question on this side over here.
Oh, Karen, take a photo of that. Because maybe you're not good with schedule, but every mother is good with a checklist. Oh, yeah. Right? So, get a checklist.
All right, I got a question for you.
Shoot. Oh, cool. You're smiling eyes the whole time. I love it. Tell me your name.
My name is Tamara Lobin. I'm a broker at Legacy Prime Realty.
Right on.
So I've watched you the whole time, started my brokerage with all your free material.
Thank you.
But now that I'm a broker, I've grown to 10 agents in a couple months.
Congrats.
But now, like, my limitation is there, right? Because now I'm working in my business, on my business.
Yep.
And it's becoming a little overwhelming. So any advice you have? My background is teaching for 17 years. I just retired.
Teachers, nurses, former military, athletes, kill it in real estate. Because if you could be a nurse or a teacher, you can manage all this insanity. Yeah. I don't know, did you see the teacher that just got busted in Dallas for giving 3-year-olds edibles? I was like, oh, God.
They always share the crazy stuff,
They only share the crazy stuff.
Yes.
I got a lot of teachers in my family, so I know, you know. All right, so you have a leverage issue. So are you still selling?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you want to know why she's still selling? Because they call broke-er for a reason. Broke is the key word there. So she has to sell to maintain while the little baby chickens start to grow up and produce eggs. Right?
Yes.
So you're running 2 ships simultaneously, plus you're responsible for E&O and the back end and all the nonsense and governance. So the first thing I'd look at is what is your personal tech stack?
Okay.
You with me? What is your transaction management system? Who's helping you with governance? Okay, so there is a thing known in our industry called rent a broker. You can rent a broker of record for like $3,500, and they will oversee all the governance, make sure everything is done right, transactions, like, do you use .loop or how do you?
Form simplicity for me.
Okay, all right, so we'll probably want to get you on a bigger platform that has, so you could look at it at night and go, oh my God, we're gonna get sued, or hey, everything's going fine.
Yes.
I'd get a rent-a-broker ASAP, Google rent-a-broker. Now you probably have to type broker of record broker of record part-timers.
Okay.
And you'll get a bunch of people.
Okay.
You with me? And they'll be like, oh, I used to be a coal banker like in 1902, and perfect. Thanks, Fred. Take it over. Right? But they know what they're doing. And now you're free of that. Now you're not entirely free because it's your company, so you got to still watch it. How's your personal marketing and lead generation to make sure your business is going right?
That's what, from your thing, I'm all over the place and I don't know to repeat it, right? So I'm doing it, but then I go, what am I doing February? Like I'm not sure in the pipeline all the time.
Okay. Are your agents that work with you, are they on your team or are they in your brokerage?
They're in my brokerage.
Okay. Find out of the 10 who want to join your team.
Okay.
Okay? So now you can say to the teammates, I have this buyer, you're going to take them out. Okay. I procured the buyer. Okay. You're going to show them houses. I'm going to negotiate the deal. For that, I'm going to give you 30%. And they go, I'm new and have nothing else to do, Karen. So they're going to go show them houses. And they're going to go, I like that one. And then you're going to negotiate the deal and you saved all the time.
Okay, Boomtown. I do that with them now. So
Good.
I do the front load. And then, but I did a different split.
Okay. You give them more?
Yes.
Stop that. That's why they call you broker. Whoever procures the deal gets the lion's share.
Okay.
You with me?
Yes.
So if one of the people on your team says, I don't like that, you say, that's totally fine, go to the next person.
Okay.
And one is going to go, I'll take that. I'll take supplemental income for showing a couple houses for 30%, and you're going to negotiate the deal, and you're going to close the escrow, and all I had to do is show them a couple houses. Done.
Okay.
Make sense?
Right. Thank you.
Cool. Okay, I'm not done. I got like 15 more things for you. Okay, who's coaching you right now?
You, Tony Robbins. You, Tony Robbins.
Okay, that's good. We're a good combo, but you're not in his schedule and you're not in my schedule.
Right.
So you're learning from us. I mean, who is your strategic thinking partner that you talk to every week who's running, like, I'll give you Doug Edrington tomorrow. Doug has a Berkshire Hathaway franchise. His team sells 550 homes a year. From that, he makes like $5 million in commissions. They're all on 50-50 splits, except with the listings. He gets 70, they get 30 because he generates it all. Then he has 15 agents in his brokerage, because he has a traditional brokerage, and they basically cap, right? And he hates all of them because he makes all of his money on his team. And yesterday in a coaching session, because I am his coach, I said, we need to go from 14 agents to 45 agents because the market is so big and your brand is so fantastic, you're playing small. Okay. And we went through the MLS of every one of the companies. He's like, he needs to hire one recruiter, and that's it. So if you don't have a strategic thinking partner, you're in your head. And what does Tony Robbins say? If you're in your head, you're dead. Make sense?
Yes.
So if you're down for it, when you click that button, say to them, I'm an owner of a company. I need like CEO, broker, owner coaching. Okay. It may not be right for you today, but we're patient.
Right.
Does that make sense?
All right, thank you.
Cool. Give her a big round of applause. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Rudy,
all right.
time?
We're good.
Dave?
Yeah, we've got to get to
I know.
some other things. Tom,
okay.
Not going anywhere yet.
Give him a round of applause, everybody.
A round of applause. We're breaking out. Dave, we're breaking out to lunch in what, 15 minutes?
In 15 minutes.
But before that, we've got another special guest.
Yes, sir.
My man, God bless you.
Hey, man, I appreciate you. Hey,
give him another round of applause, guys.
Give these guys. Proud of you, man. Proud of you.
See you soon.